genuinely some of the most shocking news of the year, isn't it? And it dropped just as I went to bed. So I went to bed about 6 hours ago. I was up just doing bits of work, just bits. I mean, there's quite a bit going on at the moment. But I was doing some stuff. Went to bed. Everything was pretty normal. Woke up, and turns out that R-Truth news literally dropped as I went to bed. Sod's law, isn't it? One of those, right? So I obviously was not on that as it broke, because I'd literally gone to bed. I think it was about half an hour before I went to bed. So timing wise, not brilliant. But obviously the news has come through that Carlito is now also being told he's not going to have his contract renewed. So that, I think, dropping about an hour ago. So what I did was I went back, saw the reaction to R-Truth. Obviously, WWE superstars have been having their say as well. So I've rounded up some of that reaction from WWE superstars. I've got the Carlito news. I got the initial statement from R-Truth, and I did just put it in a video. So I just recorded that. I didn't expect to have to do any of this today. I mean, who thought we'd be having this conversation? So I honestly thought I was just going to wake up and was just going to do this stream. So apologies that we're delayed. But even though I was up in plenty of time, I obviously have just had quite a bit to do. It's shock, really, isn't it? It's shock. I don't know why it should be shock, because we know that this company are heartless. We know that they're only motivated by money. We know that sponsorships have gone crazy. Celebrity involvement has gone crazy. They're all about impressions. They're all about bottom line revenue. They're all about sponsors. So we've seen releases before. I just think this one hits different, because normally before you could look at it and you could go, well, that person never quite got going, or I can see where their struggles were. Maybe they were injury prone or something like that. I think this feels a little bit like when Bray was released. You kind of looked at it and went, no, that doesn't make sense. Bray is in his prime. He's doing some of the best work in the company, and you're letting him go. And obviously we would find out that the relationship I think he had with Vince was very fractured. And the belief, it was never fully confirmed, but the belief was that they were butting heads. I think Vince found it hard to work with him, and as a result, they ended up parting ways. It's kind of one of those where I just don't need this aggravation on Vince's behalf. And that's only because Bray was so determined to have his vision on screen the way that it should be presented. You can't be down on Bray for that. You can't be down on Bray for being passionate about protecting his characters and story. But, we know how wrestling works. It's basically WWE come up with the creative and the wrestlers perform it, right? And they want a bit of input. They want you to have your say, but really, it's WWE that kind of really deals with the creative. So with Bray having so much input on creative, I think it put him on a big collision course with Vince. And so that was the reason for that. Or that's the believed reason, the accepted reason. In regards to R-Truth, I mean, we know that R-Truth is in his 50s. He gets paid a lot of money. We know that money is money that can be saved. He doesn't get used on TV all the time. As the years go by, that's only going to get less and less and less. He's a comedy character. That's a spot that can be taken up by someone else. Someone else can have that spot now. So in that regard, it makes sense. But it's R-Truth. There's just no loyalty, is there? It's R-Truth. This is a guy that everyone loves. And this is a guy you think would have a job for life. You sort of feel like if you're with a company for so long, you sort of feel like they would put their arm around you and go, we got you. We've got you, You're with us for life. I mean, could they not have offered him a pay cut and a Legends deal? Could they not have, found some other job for him? Why is it that, your contract's coming up, we're not going to renew it, thanks, and that's it? Why is that? Why could we not have done better? I mean, it's so cutthroat. This is why when people are talking about how do we feel about what WWE are doing to AEW, I couldn't give a flip what they're doing to AEW. I couldn't give a flip if they're running shows at the same time as AEW. Welcome to the business world. Welcome to the adult world. But unfortunately, even with that attitude, you sometimes get slapped in the face and reminded just how harsh the business world, the adult world can be. And I think today we all had that slap in the face as a reminder as to just how harsh this world is. And I say in the video, I mean, obviously I'll talk here about it, but I said in the video why I hope the fans kind of make their voices heard. I do think tomorrow's Raw is going to be very interesting. I don't know why you would announce this news now. I don't know why you wouldn't have got Raw out of the way, because you've basically got this news coming out the day before Raw, which I think is that the show that R-Truth's on? I can't remember if he's on Raw or SmackDown. In my mind, it's Raw, but he has just done a little thing with John Cena, hasn't he? So, but either way, I expect to see R-Truth, or I would have. And now everyone's going to go to that show with signs and chants. And I mean, if I was going to Raw tomorrow, the only thing on my mind is R-Truth. And Carlito, of course. Let's not forget Carlito, but that's a different situation. He'd left the company. I think he's had 13 years. So, I mean, that's very different. But, yeah, I mean, all the signs and the chants and everything for R-Truth on Raw, I've got to think it's going to be sizable. This guy was universally loved. I've got to think that's going to be sizable. So it should make Raw very interesting. I really hope the fans do make their voices heard. Because, I don't know, where is that breaking point? Where do the fans start pushing back against ticket prices? Where do they start taking signs, kind of laying into TKO? Where is that backlash? Where's that backlash? Is it coming? Is this going to do it? Do we need to be kicked around a little bit more? I mean, the ticket prices seem to, be enough for some people. What about now with what they've done with R-Truth? Or is that going to be accepted as well? I don't know. I love WWE. I'm not in love with TKO. And I'm not in love with kind of that business side of the business. And listen, releases have always sucked. They've never been fun. But, I don't know. There's something about this one that's really hitting different from what I'm seeing. There's something about this, like, there's real upset. There's real anger. And actually, Fightful said that the backstage reaction at WWE has never been anything like this before. People are genuinely shocked, upset, hurt. They're calling it complete nonsense. And the amount of people that are taken to social media, like wrestlers, to talk about it. Yeah, a real surprise, a real shock. Let's try and jump in the chat, though, because you're not just here to listen to me waffle. But Porky Pig said they could have turned Truth heel so that he could have teamed with John instead of Logan. Maybe make them a team to make Cena slowly turn face again. To be honest, though, I don't think they're looking at this year. I mean, you can find stuff for R-Truth to do this year. What with it being John's final year, he could be ever present, like trying to bring John back around. Like I agree with you, but a contract would probably run for 5 years. So Cena retires at the end of the year. What do you do with R-Truth in 2026? What do you do with him in 2027? What do you do with him in 2028? I mean, he's already 53. In that regard, it's not like he's 33. He's 53. It's not even so much that they've said to him, we're not going to use you on TV anymore. It's not even so much. It's just the fact that there's nothing for him now. I can sort of cope with them saying we're really running out of creative for R-Truth. We certainly can't find matches for him. If we do, it's once in a blue moon, like the thing he did with Cena. But, we've done an awesome Truth reunion. We've tried him in Judgment Day. Like, we're kind of running out of road a little bit. So I don't even mind that. I don't mind them saying if we do get any comedy stuff, we'd like to use someone else. But it's just the fact that someone that's given so much of their time to WWE is now out, done, gone, cold. Obviously, loads of indies have already shown interest. I mean, he's not going to be stuck for work. Everyone's going to want R-Truth. R-Truth is going to shift tickets, isn't he? He could go to any promotion and he will get attention. So, comedy, that kind of comedy character. But to be honest, he's probably made enough money where he doesn't need to do that. But I don't know. If our heads are spinning, I've got to think his head is spinning as well. Curtis said he's the most decorated WWE champion in history. He's had 50-plus title reigns. James said, why are we assuming they won't offer Truth a different contract? Well, there's been nothing announced. I mean, I don't know why, unless they're... The only thing I can think, and, I don't know why you would necessarily want to do this, but this is really bad news. So, I mean, spoiler. So, cutting R-Truth and saying goodbye to R-Truth has obviously really upset and hurt the fan base. And it's caused a lot of anger. And there's a lot of anger in the locker room. And there's a lot of fans that are angry as well. You could have avoided all of that anger by saying to R-Truth, we're not going to renew your performance contracts, but we are going to give you a Legends deal. It means that, your time as a on-screen regular performer will come to an end, but we'll use you for things like Saturday night's main event. We'll continue to make merch with you and all that sort of stuff. But the word coming out is not that that's what's happened. Fightful aren't reporting that. R-Truth's not mentioned that. There's no, PW Insider asking around. No one's come out with any words. Whether that emerges later and it turns out it was part of the deal, but just no one found out about it, it could do. But equally, I've got to say it's just as likely, if not more likely, that hasn't happened, because there's no, everyone's digging on this. PW Nexus are digging, Fightful are digging, PW Insider are digging. Everyone's looking for any kind of information on this, because it's obviously one of the biggest stories of the year, isn't it? But there's no word that there's any new deal that's on the way. And I don't know why TKO would want to turn around to him and say, you're done. We're not going to renew your deal. Let there be all this heartache, bad press, bad PR, and then go back to him and go on then. We'll give you a Legends deal. I've got to think they would do it at the same time. I've got to think that you would kind of... I don't know, it's just not a very respectful thing to do either, is it? You've got... And I think this is what it is about. This is about respect. I think this is about respect. Because... I don't think a 50-year-old professional wrestler can really expect to wrestle for much longer, right? Certainly not at the highest level WWE. Might go off to the indies and do stuff like we see the old-timers do, like Butch and Luke did from the Bushwhackers and whatever, like you would see Hacksaw Jim Duggan doing, Jake the Snake and whatever. They would go to the indies and you'd see these pictures of them wrestling in front of 20-odd people, right? So if you're in your 50s, being a competitive wrestler in the top wrestling company in the world, or the biggest stage at least, you probably can't really expect that. But where's the respect? Where's the loyalty? Why is it that they've just turned around and gone, we're not going to renew your contract, thanks for your service? And just, it's so cold. It's so cold. So at the moment, this is why there's no words, no expectation that they're going to offer him something. Maybe there'll be a big enough backlash where they will. Maybe they have and the news hasn't come out, but without that news, I have no idea that has actually happened. And as we said, I'm sure everyone's been asking and digging, and I'm sure R-Truth's phone has been blowing up, and, certainly all the superstars are going to have reached out to him. I've got to think if he's been offered something else, that news would have emerged. But it's like, why would you even want this bad press? Why would you not just do it all at the same time? You could say, well, it's kind of, you could do it so that then you offer him a Legends deal so that so that the fans feel a little bit better about it. You know, you sort of bury the bad news with the good news, but I've got no confidence that that's the play. I just don't know why you would want all this bad press. It's really not good. It's a bad day, isn't it? It's a really bad day. Feel really, really sorry for him. I just think there should be some value to loyalty, and there just doesn't appear to be. Mike said WWE makes it hard to support them. Well, it's difficult because, to be honest with you, I don't know whose call this is. I'm thinking it's obviously TKO. I mean, it could be Nick Khan. Yeah, I agree. There's some things that WWE do that you just... I'm one of their biggest fans. I've been watching since the early 90s, and there are times where even I sit here and go, I can't defend this. I mean, you're talking about a company that's making record revenue right now, record profit. And I know in order to make that profit, you've got to make some very difficult decisions and some unpopular decisions. And this absolutely is one of those. But I just sort of think there has to be some loyalty there as well. There has to be like some sort of loyalty, like, because honestly, all I'm reading now that wrestlers are saying that they are gonna try and renegotiate their contracts earlier because they're seeing a pattern now, which is once you get towards the end of your contract, the company could just turn around and say, right, we're not going to renew. So what this has said to wrestlers is, do not let your contract expire. If you let your contract expire, this is where WWE are going to potentially step in and go, yeah, no, we've thought about it. We're not going to renew. So this is going to make it more difficult for WWE as well. It's going to result in more unhappiness, because if you're a WWE superstar and your contract's up in 12 months, you knock on the door, go, I'd like to renegotiate, right? Now, WWE probably are going to want to kick that can down the road. They're not going to want to renegotiate. They're going to want the option of saying goodbye if you get to the end of your contract, okay? So if they do that, if they allow like people to get towards the end of the contract, all you're going to have is people walking on eggshells. You're just going to have people not knowing if they're going to be kept on or released or what's going to happen. And, you know, you're going to have people that are upset. It's really, really difficult, because part of me thinks this is the right way to go about it, but part of me thinks this is wrong as well. Because I've always argued in the past that being released out the blue is the worst thing you can do, and I stand by that. So being allowed to get to the end of your contract is the right thing to do. The flip side of that coin, though, is if you keep asking, can I renew? Can I renew? Can I renew? And the company keeps saying, no, we're not going to do it. We've got a policy. We only renegotiate 2 months towards the end of your deal, or in the final month of a deal. You're just going to have a load of people walking on eggshells as well, aren't you? You're just going to have a load of people. And if that is your policy, if you bring that in as a policy, we only renegotiate, that means you've got to do that for your big stars as well. And you really don't want to be running Becky Lynch's contract down to her final month, do you? You don't want to run Roman Reigns' contract down to his final month. You're going to negotiate those well in advance. So you can't even have that policy. This is tricky, isn't it? If you say to the wrestlers, our policy is we only renegotiate contracts in the final month of the contract, but then you go and give Roman Reigns a new 5-year deal, like a year before his contract expires, well, you're sending out mixed messages. And, you know, if you do that with Becky, you do that with Rhea, you do that with Seth. And then all of a sudden, my contract, you're saying, no, we're going to negotiate in the final month. You're basically telling me you're thinking of letting me go, aren't you? In that, you're basically saying we're thinking of letting you go, because you'll negotiate Romans before then, and you'll negotiate Becky's. So then how motivated do you reckon I'm going to be? How happy do you think I'm going to be? knowing that my contract is slowly winding down and I don't know if I'm going to have a job or not. Oh, it's difficult, isn't it? It's really, because I still say that is better than just releasing people, just outright letting them go. Yeah, there's quite a bit to this one, honestly. There's quite a bit to kind of tear apart with this one. There's quite a lot to kind of dig into because there's so many different aspects to it, but we don't have long until flipping Money in the Bank. Who's just not mentally in the space for Money in the Bank right now? Because I know I'm not. I was not expecting this. I mean, no one was expecting this, but, you know, I mean, I did yesterday's Unseen, and I really struggled to find stuff to talk about because it was a very quiet day. One of the quietest Saturdays I can ever remember yesterday. Flipping, ta-da, calm before the storm. Yeah. Turns out, I mean, I genuinely wondered if I'd even get an Unseen done today because I thought, well, if it's Sundays are normally the quietest day. So if that's how it's for a Saturday, I mean, a Sunday might not be able to get one done. So I really didn't think when I went to bed, like, it's not like I woke up and I was like, oh my God, what have I missed? I had something to eat before I even checked the wrestling news. So it was like, I was stunned, absolutely stunned that that this has happened. And also on a day where traditionally it's, as we said, the quietest day. Just crazy. This is not a conversation any of us thought we were going to be having. Cringewolf said, what peeves me off is having guys like Logan and Travis Scott who don't belong in WWE, yet they don't re-sign R-Truth and all those who have been released. It's not fair to those. Well, I don't really want to get into a conversation about this person should be there, that person shouldn't be there. I mean, for me, those are celebrities. They're celebrities that are there for, not because they're good at wrestling. I mean, Logan's okay. Logan's fine. He's athletic. We've given him his flowers, and I'm well past that stage now. Now, if we're going to judge him as a full-time wrestler, he's okay. He doesn't look necessarily out of place on the main roster, but I don't think he's God's gift to wrestling. I don't think he's anything special. I think that he's okay. But he's not there for that. He is not there because of his promos. He's not there because of his in-ring ability. He's there because he's got how many million followers on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter? I mean, simple as that. That's the only reason he's there. Same with Travis Scott. How many followers has he got? Just look at people's followers. Look at their reach. That's it. This is what makes the world go round now. People's influence makes the world go round. If you've got a big reach, if you've got a big audience, you will have a lot of companies coming after you. You'll have a lot of companies that want to get their products in front of that audience. WWE are doing it a slightly different way, in that they're not going to Logan saying, can you talk about us? Can you show these clips? They're going, hey, do you want to be in our company? It's a bit weird, actually. It's a little bit like Coke going up to Logan going, hey, do you want to work in our factory? We don't want you to just show our products. We want you to help make our products. Do you want to come and put those white overalls on and come and work in our factory? It's a weird way of doing it, but this is how they're doing it. Most other companies just pay to have sponsorships, whereas I think because WWE is in front of a live audience, it's performance-based, it's skill-based, and you can show off, you can do these cool moves, you can got WrestleMania, I think that it's something that Logan's looked at and gone, do you know what, I could really give my time to that. And probably something he was a fan of as a kid as well. Most kids are obviously fans of pro wrestling, WWE at some point. Even if they immediately kind of move on from it, everyone sort of has a little look. So, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see pictures of him young with a belt and figures and whatever. But, yeah, I mean, that's it, isn't it? They're different worlds, really. We're paying Logan not for his comedic abilities, or his promo skills, or his wrestling skills. It's literally about the numbers. If R-Truth had those numbers, he wouldn't be getting released. If R-Truth had those numbers, he'd be staying with WWE. And again, it's just another side of the business that sucks, doesn't it? Just absolutely sucks. It's not about skills and abilities. It's literally about what numbers have you got online. What's your audience? What's your reach? That's it. That is it. That is what we're focused on. Cringe Wolf, shout out to you. Interesting thoughts. Good to kind of think about how does this relate to the celebrities. And yeah, just sucks. Just sucks. Joel said, what do we think the future is for The Miz? Like, after wrestlers like Truth and Carlito are being let go, also having Truth's last match as JC and not Cena is criminal. What's the future for The Miz? I'd think a worrying one, honestly. If I'm The Miz right now, message received, this company has no loyalty. This company does not give a flip about who you are, what you've done, how much the fans love you. It is literally about, are you worth the money we're paying you? And I would think The Miz is on quite a decent wage. I mean, if you think how many years The Miz has been there, he's going to have renegotiated his contract a few times. And I would imagine that it's a case that he is now being paid quite handsomely. So I don't know what he's on, 4 million, something like that, 5 million. He's in the millions, easy. I don't know the exact number, but I mean, even when you first go to the main roster, it used to be $250,000 a year. So that's when that's what Tyler Bate would be on. Would be like $250,000 or whatever. Kiana James should be on a number around that. Whereas once you've been there, you go up in value. I mean, The Miz has been a WrestleMania main eventer. He's been a 2-time WWE champion. He's been on the main roster, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 years. So he's in the millions. So are you getting that value out of The Miz? Is The Miz worth that amount of money? Or do you reinvest that money elsewhere? And if I'm The Miz, I'm probably worried, honestly. I'm probably worried. Because if they've just done that to R-Truth, then they could absolutely do it to The Miz. Because we know that Triple H is not a massive Miz fan anyway. Miz doesn't get like the same sort of exposure he did under Vince. Under Vince, he would be used regular. You'd have Miz TV. He'd be in some pretty big angles. Whereas under Triple H, at the moment, he's just doing something with Carmelo. Before that, we did Awesome Truth, but his partner just got released. So, I mean, that shows how important Awesome Truth was. Their biggest moment was at WrestleMania, and that was to give R-Truth his WrestleMania moment. So, I mean, if I'm The Miz, there ain't been loads for me under Triple H. So, yeah, I would be worried if I was The Miz. I'd be worried if I was pretty much any superstar that's not like a major, like a Roman or a Punk or a Seth or whatever. Aaron said TKO sucks. They're successful, but they've made so many bad decisions from a fan perspective. I couldn't care how many gate records they break. They make WWE come across as heels. I agree. I think that they are. I mean, we used to say that Vince was motivated by money. Do you remember that Bray had the Vince puppet and he would feed it dollar bills? And we used to joke about how like Vince was so motivated by money. And now here we are sat here with a company that I would argue is even worse. In a company that I would argue is even more motivated by money. So I think, Vince would never, ever do sponsors on the ring mat. He it's not something he'd not thought of. It was something that he thought made the ring look cluttered, and he wasn't interested. He could have sold the turnbuckle pads as advertising space years ago. Could have sold the ring mat as advertising space years ago. But he had some lines that he didn't want to cross, and I'm certainly not going to paint him out to be this saint, an amazing person. He clearly was not. But he was a ruthless businessman. But, I mean, TKO are crossing lines that Vince wouldn't cross, you know? And that's kind of crazy. It just shows, doesn't it, what the business world is really like. When we say dog eat dog, you know, that's business, business is business, you're really seeing the sharks that operate in that world now. If you opened up a wrestling company, you'd have to compete with the likes of TKO. You'd have to compete with, back in the day, a Vince McMahon. And it's, you know, this is why people say Tony Khan's a little bit naive, because he kind of complains about these tactics. And you can understand why he's not happy with contract tampering and some of the things that go on behind the scenes. But equally, this is the business world, and it just shows how ruthless it is. It just shows how dog eat dog it is. It's, I agree, WWE don't get any good PR out of this. The best response that anyone can have to this is, well, business is business. R-Truth is 53 or whatever, is clearly not going to be a full-time active wrestler. He might be on the show each week, but like in backstage segments, but he's not going to be a full-time active wrestler. His in-ring is only going to go down from here. His presence is only going to go down. But, you know, so why pay him millions each year if you're not getting millions worth of content out of him? And, you know, you can make that argument. But that, for me, is where you go, okay, well, where's why is he being let go? Where's that replacement contract? I'd feel happier if the news today was that he was done and he'd been given a Legends deal. Once this contract's done, they've kind of run out of road creatively for him. And so now they want to, you know, use that TV time for some more emerging talent. But they don't want to lose him. They really value R-Truth. They want to keep him around. They've offered him a Legends deal. If that had been the news today, I might feel a bit different. But as we said, it's the fact that the news is that once his contract's done, he's done. Indies are very interested in working with him. And yeah, it's just really sad, isn't it? Really sad. It's, once again, the dark side of being a pro wrestling fan. Certainly a WWE fan. Long Beach Hippie said, I'd like to know who had to tell R-Truth you're fired. Triple H probably didn't want to do that. I really hope he didn't find out over email or social media. Normally, there's a talent relations person. I forget his name. It used to be Mark something. I don't know. I mean, John Laurinaitis has done that role. I don't know who's in that role right now. It's not Triple H. There is a talent relations person. I know John Laurinaitis did it. I know that Jim Ross did it back in the day. Bruce Pritchard has done it. I don't think Triple H has ever done that role. Triple H is head of creative. It's not his responsibility to call them up to let them know they've been fired, right? That's not his job. That's a kind of like a talent relations HR type role. So it to be honest with you, it's not Triple H's job to do that. You could say that there is a responsibility for him to call him up to see how he is after and be like, listen, I'm so sorry to hear the news, you know, because I mean, he's basically, he feels like Nick Khan's second in command. So it feels like he will have known, and he may have had some input in it as well. Because, to be honest, I think what happens is TKO says to Nick Khan, your budget's 50 million on wages. You're currently at 49.5. Can we just get that down a touch? Or you're at 52. Can we get that down a touch? Can we get that closer to the 50 it needs to be? Or you're at 49.5. Like, if we're going to bring more people in, you got to bring your budget down. And then likely he will turn to Triple H and go, right, I've been told I've got to save on the budget. So for wages, so who are you not using? Over the next 5 years, where do I make my saving? And listen, if they've identified R-Truth, because someone's got to go, you know, I can accept it. The thing I can't accept is the fact that there's no words on him getting a different contract or being kept around in some regards, you know? well, okay, you're done with that, but let's keep him as a ambassador thing. I mean, why not move him to the ambassador role? Maybe he didn't want it. Perhaps they offered it and he didn't want it, and so now he's coming out saying, I'm done. Basically, they're not going to renew my contract. Maybe they did offer and he turned it down. I don't know about that. But there's no word on any other contracts that have been offered or declined or that are pending or incoming. So at the moment, the only news we've got is literally that news, which is that his contract's not being renewed. And Carlito the same as well. So, yeah, I mean, you can sort of understand it in that regards. So Nick Khan will have spoke to Triple H. Triple H will have, said, well, I'm using this person, not using that person. They would have come up with an answer. And then it's down to HR to let that person know. And so Triple H, I'm sure, will have an awareness. I really don't think that Nick Khan sat there making that decision himself. He's got an excellent working relationship with Triple H. And so they will have kind of reached that conclusion together. Daisy, it sucks that they were let go. Carlito's been a favourite. He was funny, and I was hoping he would be back to main events. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting him to get back to, any kind of that level. Carlito is not a big shock, honestly. Carlito is someone that's has been excellent in Judgment Day. I think they bring him back at that Backlash in Puerto Rico. That was the first time we'd seen him in like 13 years, whatever. And there was a great crowd reaction. And so it was like, yeah, let's do something with Carlito. We can do something here. There's something here. And so we brought him in. And to be honest, we didn't know what to do with him. He was a bit lost at first. It was only when he moved into Judgment Day that I think we really found a groove with him. But, yeah, I can sort of understand that one. Because he wasn't someone that wrestled all the time. It's a spot on the roster that someone else can have. When it comes to the comedy stuff, great, but we had R-Truth. So, I don't know how desperately needed it was, but he did provide fun and humour to the Judgment Day. He did make their segments more palatable. His little looks that he would give over to, like, Raquel, and he'd be, like, flirting with her, and he'd be playing that video game. But to be honest, it did feel like we were just trying to find stuff for him to do. It did feel like, just play with the game in the background and complain. I mean, that's all he used to do sometimes. The whole thing would be maybe at ringside trying to do a distraction and then backstage complaining about how he can't find himself in the video game, which you can do a week or so, but like I feel like that was most weeks with Carlito. I sort of can understand we ran out of road there. I can sort of understand that. So yeah, a shame, of course, absolutely. You don't want to see anyone go, but I don't know. I feel different about the Truth one than I do the Carlito one. Carlito had been away for a long time and had, been fortunate enough to return and have another little run. But R-Truth, ever present. He, he just felt like he was going to be a lifer. That whole lifer thing, I suppose, I was disappointed when Edge went to AEW because Edge felt like a lifer. And not Edge's fault, because Edge, of course, wanted to be a full-timer, and they said to him, we don't have that for you. And so he went to AEW to be a full-timer, so I get that. I don't begrudge him that. I'm not upset with him making that decision, right? But I was just upset that he had gone, really, because he felt like someone that was a WWE lifer. And that one, that one was difficult because WWE didn't have the full-time work for him, and so he had to make a decision. But this one is like, it's similar but a little different because like R-Truth, he doesn't need to be doing full-time stuff. It's not like he wants to be wrestling every week and wants to be like, main event. Well, I'm sure he does, but he's all right doing what he's doing. He's not causing no bother, right? He's adding whenever he needs to add, like whenever they ask him to add. You want me to have a match, I'll have a match. You need me in a backstage segment, I'll do that. You want me to do this, I'll do that. He's so good. and he's not asking for anything as far as we know. So it's just a case of like, well, no loyalty, you know. We were upset, or people were upset with Edge for leaving. As soon as we found out that he got told there was no full-time work for him, I think we understood. I understood. But like, it's such a shame, isn't it, to think that those people that do stay and do want to be lifers, even they run out of road. So even if Edge had stayed, he might find himself in this situation. He might find himself in this situation where they go, right, we're out of work for you now. Thanks for everything. Just shows, I mean, really, it just shows he was right to do what he did. He was absolutely right to go. Because WWE have shown no loyalty to R-Truth. So why would they have shown loyalty to Edge, even if Edge had stuck around? This idea of lifers, it doesn't exist. WWE are showing us it doesn't exist. It's really bad. It's bad PR today, and it's really bad PR. I need to pick the mood up a bit, but it's going to be difficult because people love R-Truth. I love R-Truth. Truth could sign with TNA for more money than WWE is willing to pay and still feature on WWE programming, says Brian. I don't know how that would work, honestly. I don't think that's the case. I don't think WWE are going to use R-Truth on the main roster if he's a TNA talent. I think that you would just keep him around in order to do that. I don't know where he goes from here. He could go to TNA and feature on that show, and maybe pop up in NXT. But no, they're going to use their main roster programming time for their own stars, aren't they? You might get the odd exception, like if he goes to TNA and then we do another Randy Orton WrestleMania Open Challenge. This year it was Joe Hendry. If we do that again, it might be R-Truth in the future. R-Truth could pop up in a Rumble, stuff like that. But no, he's not going to be like backstage used on a regular basis if he's a TNA talent. Okay, we are underway with Money in the Bank. So we haven't spoke about this show at all, and kind of understandably so. I believe this is, timeline-wise, where are we? I've done no prep for this. Timeline-wise, I think we're after WrestleMania 26, going into 27, which is going to kind of hopefully put it in your mind as to where we are. So that should kind of explain who is going to be winning tonight. If my timeline's correct, I have not worked that out. But yeah, if that is where we are, then I think I've got a pretty good idea as to who's winning the briefcase here. And that's how I do it. I'm not very good actually at who won it this year, who won it that year. I have to kind of go back and go, right, what was WrestleMania? I have to kind of look at the shows around it and kind of piece it from there. Jerry Lawler is on commentary with Michael Cole and Matt Striker. We should have a couple of now there was obviously the split at this time. There was Raw and there was SmackDown, so we should be getting a couple of Money in the Bank matches. So we may start with one. There's the Spanish announce table. Randy, hello, shout out to you. Odyssey said, I think even John Cena could be gone. TKO thinks John's making too much money. They want to cut costs. Means that John is that. Do you know what I mean? Well, John's going anyway. John's going at the end of the year, isn't he? I mean, they'll keep him under some sort of deal because they won't want him going to AEW. Here's Kofi, the Intercontinental Champion at this time. Let's go. Did we hear the news about R-Truth? Yeah, we've just been talking about it for about an hour, but this music was so good. I hope if he goes back to being a face, he brings this theme back. SOS. Boom, boom, boom. He was basically the Costco guy before the Costco guys, wasn't he? Boom, boom, boom. Right, here's Dolph. So it's got to be, we're starting with a Money in the Bank ladder match. Dolph Ziggler making his way down. That was a shock, actually, back in the day, a few years back when he got released as well. Not as shocking as R-Truth, but shocking all the same. God, he was so hot, like 2013, 2014. Here's Christian. On the bright side, it wasn't announced on a Raw day. That would have put a dampener on the show. Well, that's true, actually. I mean, we are really scrambling around for any kind of positivity, but you are correct. I mean, do you remember when the releases this year happened a few weeks back and they were happening just before SmackDown and during SmackDown? Dashing Cody Rhodes. Look at this. Dashing Cody Rhodes. Oh, wow. This is Cody's first Money in the Bank ladder match. There he is. Look, I never understood that thing. Looking in the mirror, but it's not reflective. He can't see himself. Looking in the in this fake mirror on the Titantron light, but he can't see himself. It's not a real mirror. Oh yeah, let's go. Good, it's good lineup actually. Good lineup. Always worth getting a Hardy in there. Brian said Dash In Cody Rhodes is my favourite version of him. Trini said we still need to be told if they were asked whether they would accept a Legends deal without the renewal of the contract or turned it down. I need to know if they even tried to keep Truth. Well, there's no words on that. There's no words on that. If that news does emerge, I'll feel a bit better about it, that they tried to keep him. But there's been no words on any other contracts offered from Fightful or PW Insider or anything. So all we know as of right now is that they just told him your deal is not going to get renegotiated. So I honestly would think that news would emerge. But yeah, I mean, it could be something that emerges later. But I think it would come out. I really do. Here's Kane. Drew McIntyre as well. The Chosen One. The Chosen One era. Here's Kane. This is such a bonker. This is like going back and looking at this now, knowing what we know 15 years later. It's kind of like someone has just got random figures, isn't it? Cody Rhodes, who has gone on to be like one of the faces of the company. Dolph Ziggler, who is released now at the time of sitting here. Kane. Now here comes Big Show. Matt Hardy. It is such a random collection of guys. It is like a kid's gone, just, do you know what I mean? Grabbed a load of figures and been like, right, Matt Hardy, Big Show, Kane, Dolph, where's Dolph? Where's my Cody? It's such a weird mix. I suppose it's got a bit of everything, really. It's good in that regards. You know, we got size, we got strength, we got agility, we got the high flying ability, we got wrestling, like technical ability. Like, there's a bit of everything in there. Always like that shirt. It's a good Big Show shirt, that. Big Show chucking the shirt out into the crowds, and we are about to get underway. There's Christian, Drew McIntyre. Bella's sounded and we are underway. So crazy, isn't it, to look at both? I mean, look at Drew, look at Cody, look at kind of them being in this match and how they're presenting themselves. And obviously look at now all these years later where they are, how they're being used. This is why someone like Austin Theory, it's not the end of the world. Oh, big shot there by Kane. You know, this is why when you look at a Theory or you look at a Grayson Waller or you look at whoever, right? If they've got potential and they're young, you can easily turn the ship around. It only takes like a heel turn, a face turn, a new gimmick or something, and off they go. Oh, that Big Show chat, I remember that. Trying to climb the ladder and good spot. Pretty fun. So he tries to step up the ladder, but the step breaks. I wonder... I mean, I don't think they will have gimmicked all of the steps. So, obviously, he puts his foot on the one and it breaks. When he does that and he actually hits one of the steps, I bet he had to be quite specific about which one it was. If he'd have got the wrong step, I bet the others would not have been gimmicked. So if he'd have done that, I bet he would have just smacked his hand off the step and it wouldn't have worked. I can't imagine they gimmicked all of them. Maybe they did. That'd be an interesting question. That's like a Chris Van Vliet question. Hey, do you remember back in 2010 at the Money in the Bank when you tried to climb the ladder and the ring step broke? Were all of those steps gimmicked? Or was it just the ones that you attacked? Shots coming in there by Drew. Headbutt there by Drew. This is where he gets the giant reinforced ladder, said Uncle Rebel. Ace said, Big Show loves AEW. He gets to do what he wants. Here we go. Look, we're looking for a slingshot. Boom! Oh, Christian didn't really get the height I was expecting there. Slingshotted into the ladder and the ladder being brought into the ring. It is nice seeing those Money in the Bank trucks. They were always fun. The money trucks. Matt Hardy coming in with a ladder as well. If you are joining us, then we are watching this on WWE Vault. WWE Vault has got over 2 million subscribers now. 2.2 million subscribers. Not loads of people enjoying this show. It says that there's about just over 1,000. Oh, yeah, just over 1,000 watching this. Obviously, the news today. Probably a bit of a distraction. There's a lot of videos, a lot of people doing streams and whatever on that news. Here we go, Christian trying to get up, but it's always a bit early in it. It's a bit like going for a pinfall in those kind of first few minutes. Probably not gonna get it. Christian goes to the outsides. Oh, Kofi with a big shot to Cody. Into the side of the ladder goes Cody. Matt Hardy goes into the side of a ladder on the outside of the ring. People also probably upset about the news said, Adrian, you could understand it. I can understand it. It's, I think it's good to be upset about it, though. It means that people care. It means that R-Truth mattered. And, people love R-Truth. They love watching his segments. And, yeah, people should be upset. Shots coming in there by Christian. And again... Christian trying to climb up, trying to get that briefcase. The flipping superstars are upset. They are really high. That briefcase swinging around. Shot coming back there by Dolph. Elbow there by Christian. Oh, it was like a hip toss off the top of the ladder, but a really bad angle. So we unfortunately didn't get to see the fall. If I'm Ziggler, I'm livid. I'm watching that back and I'm livid. I've just been hip tossed off the top of a ladder and you didn't really show it. A twist of fates. Right now we got Christian. He's in the ring. He's stepping to the outside. Kane has got Matt Hardy. Oh, he grabs Christian as well. Both in choke slams. No joy. They break out of it. Boom! DDT. DDT. Ladder being dragged back to the corner there by Christian. This briefcase, the blue briefcase, swinging away. Oh, there we go. That's a better angle. Well, it's some sort of angle showing that hip toss. Matt Hardy and Christian driving ladders into the front and the back of Kane. Right now we got Christian down. Matt Hardy in the ring. Kick coming in, looking for that twist of fate. No joy. Oh, Hardy goes onto a ladder. Hardy goes onto a ladder. Do we think Christian is ugly and disgusting as Vince used to think, says Millennial. No, I don't think he's ugly and disgusting, no. Matt Hardy goes to the outsides. Odyssey said it is not a good argument that he only cares for his family because of the creative problems, but if we do have a good argument, you should leave it alone. I don't know what that's in relation to. Christian lands on Big Show. It's Bryn again, says, I'm about to layeth the smackdown on you if you don't read my super chat. This is more upsetting than R-Truth's release. It's Bryn again. Let me go over to it. It's Bryn again, says, Money in the Bank this year is super hard to call, in my opinion. I'm still not used to Triple H's booking because literally anything can happen. It's Bryn again, thank you. Here's Kofi. Anna said, if R-Truth doesn't get a Legends deal, then this is mind-blowing. But guys like The Godfather and Boogeyman do. How? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if maybe R-Truth has said that he wants to still compete. Maybe it's one of those where R-Truth is like wanting to see out his career. Perhaps he feels that like a Legends deal is basically retirement, you know? I mean, as I said, if there's one that's been offered to him, then I would feel a bit better about it. I think if... it's difficult, isn't it? If I was WWE... I don't know how you kind of get the message out. If I'm WWE, I'd want to make it known that R-Truth is had been offered a deal. If he had been offered a deal. Kane dragging Drew out the ring. Kick coming in. It's Kaz said Raw is going to be interesting. Yeah, I agree. Raw is going to be interesting. I think Kane is stripping the announce table. I think there should be lots of signs, lots of noise. But yeah, as we said, it's a difficult one. R-Truth is so loved. Back elbow there by Drew. Commentary table has been stripped. Shot coming in there by Drew. Boot there by Kane. Drew goes down. Shot coming in. So weird seeing just normal ring posts and not seeing any LED screens or whatever. That's kind of the big takeaway. Everything's pretty much the same, apart from like the LED things. And it is lovely seeing a nice clean ring. And it is lovely not having a hydration station. And it is lovely not having Logan Paul in the match. Shots coming in there by Kofi. Kofi unloaded on Drew. Kofi, boom! Big kick. Big kick. thunderous kick, and Drew down. Kofi looking at ladder on the outsides. Steve said WWE never speaks on anything related to contracts, so trying to bring that up on TV would not happen. Either way, it's a horrible look and it makes no sense. Oh no, they wouldn't mention it on TV. I'm just wondering if they could have put a statement out knowing how much upset this would have caused. WWE could have put a statement out today saying, following the news earlier today, we would like to thank R-Truth and Carlito for their services. Both were offered Legends deals or something like that. And I was trying to think, would they do a statement like that to let fans know that a Legends contract had been offered? Ah, that's a great spot. Off the top of the ladder, Kofi Kingston crashing into Drew, driving him through the commentary table. That was great. That was a good height to that as well. Look at the height. Bang. Like sentoning off the, I think it was off like the second step from the top. Michael Cole said that it was a bit of an awkward landing that for Kofi as Dolph is climbing up the ladder. We've got the briefcase just above the ring as Dolph has got one hand on it. Here's Big Show. I haven't seen Big Show in ages. Big Show, oh, look at that, just knocking the ladder away. Dolph comes down, big choke slam. Boom, huge. Here's Kane. Kane and Big Show, certainly no strangers. Bang, shot coming in there by Big Show. And again, driving Kane back. Headbutt there by Big Show. Big Show going over, grabbing a ladder. I mean, that ladder looks even more feeble and breakable than the one he used earlier. Drives that over into Kane. Big Show over by the ropes. Charging in. Collides into Kane. Kane goes down. Here's Cody. Cody getting in there. He goes to the outsides. Christian out there as well. So many moving parts to this as Christian and Matt with that ladder driving it into Big Show. And again, Big Show though grabbing it. It's been a really fun match. Boom, down go both of those guys. Against the ropes. Big Show. Oh. I mean, that's just not a fun spot for Big Show to do either. Big Show coming off the ropes and then splashing a ladder. Yeah, he splashed that ladder so that the ladder would be driven into both of those, but that's not even a fun spot for Big Show to do. Just seeing a replay of that great choke slam there by Big Show on Dolph. Tomorrow night, what is little Jimmy going to do without R-Truth there, says Michael. Big Show to the outsides. At this point, anyone's fair game, said Dr. Lucha La. R-Truth was pretty surprising, but it's crazy to think that something like that can happen to someone like Natty, just comparing experience. Yeah, it could happen to anyone. Here's that reinforced ladder that was mentioned earlier. Do you know, I don't think Mattel have ever made this in figure form, which is quite surprising. This ladder can hold every competitor in this match at the same time. I'm just trying to think, have we ever seen a single ladder do that? We've seen two ladders do that. He's struggling to even get it in the ring, innit? Don't try and take it over the top. Surely you try and get it under the bottom. Oh my God, look at the struggle. The struggle is real. Even Big Show can't actually get the giant ladder in the ring. Oh, it's just... So, I forgot about the struggle. The crowd are desperately trying to get behind Big Show. Big Show, I think, is like, nah, that ain't happening. Let's take it down a notch, shall we? Did they not rehearse it? Yeah! The struggle was real. Do you know, in many ways, he's already won this match, Big Show. Just by getting that ladder in is already won. There we go. The ladder is in the ring. Could you imagine, actually? Could you imagine if different coloured ladders did different things? That could be fun. I'm just looking at this big gold ladder, you know? Maybe if you get the gold one, you can go after a world title. If you go after a silver one, it's a mid-card title, or I don't know. I probably wouldn't do that, to be honest, but I was just looking at the colour and I was like, could you do something there? Then you'd have the strategy of people trying to find the right coloured ladder and whatever. Imagine if it was red, you'd have to go after a Raw title. If it was blue, you had to go after a Smackdown title or something like that. Even if you can't use that for Money in the Bank, you might be able to use that in a different kind of match. Perhaps that could be the basis for a different kind of match. Dolph Ziggler down. Could WWE rethink things if they're allowed our truth chants emerging at the upcoming shows? Something similar to Drake Maverick 5 years ago, said Millennial. They can always rethink, of course. I would think, though, that if you're going to release our truth or not renew his contract, I've got to think that you know what you're in for. I mean, you've got to be an idiot to think there's not going to be some sort of backlash, right? You got to be an idiot to think the fans are just going to go, oh, that's a shame. So I've got to think they've already factored in that there is going to be backlash. So I think whatever goes down tomorrow won't be a surprise. I think the only way it'll be a surprise is if the whole show is like hijacked. If there's signs and the occasional chant, I don't think that'll really change much. If the whole show is the crowd chanting our truth and it's like non-stop, it needs to be something where backstage they're like, wow, okay, that's interesting. This guy is way more loved than we even thought. And then maybe you would look again next week to see as it settled down. I think in order to change their mind, it'd have to be something absolutely exceptional. Absolutely exceptional. Because if you release our truth, you've got to know that that's going to be the reaction. Big Show grabbing Kofi. He's got Kofi. Kofi was trying to... Oh, look at that. DDT to Big Show by Kofi. Kofi going back to the ladder. Edward, hello. Said Days, how are you? How's the weekend? Why do we think they're letting him go? It's a massive mistake. He's loved and respected. I honestly think it's as simple as his contract's coming up. They've looked at the wage bill, and I think he costs a good few million because he's been with them for a long time. And I think it's one of those where it's like, if you've got to save money, or there's a bit of pressure to keep the budget at a certain level, and you've just called up Julia and Roxanne and all these people, right? And you've got more on the way. I think it's one of those where they've looked at it and gone, we could cut that person, that person, that person, or I could cut our truth. It might not be a decision that was easy. It might not have been a decision they loved to make him. It might be a decision where it's like, he's 50 odds. He's getting paid a few million. We can't justify that. So this is the move. That side of it does not worry me too much. I sort of get that. It is the other side of like the why have we not kept him around? Why have we not found something else for him to do? But it could be it could emerge that he was the one that turned down a Legends deal. But it's that bothers me more. Matt on the outsides. Boom, headbutt there by Big Show. Dolph Ziggler coming in. Bang, and again, headbutt there by Big Show. When I was little, I always used to yell, climb, climb. Why go so slow, said Wrestling Prouds. Yeah, it's been made fun of many, many times. So Big Show again, having a little look, slowly going up. It is the downside of the matches, really. If you are someone that doesn't really watch wrestling, these are things that I think wrestling has sort of forgotten about. It's one of those kind of tropes that the wrestling fans just learn to accept. But if you don't really watch wrestling, yeah. Big Show to the outside, Kane tipping that ladder over. Here's Matt Hardy throwing a ladder on top of Big Show. Christian doing the same. There's Frank the Clown. I forgot about Frank the Clown. Frank the Clown in the crowds. He got with Mick Foley's daughter Noelle, didn't he? I don't know if they're still together. Yeah, another ladder being thrown. So Big Show buried under a pile of ladders. And a load of guys think all the other guys getting back in the ring. Cody jumping round the other side. Trying to climb up as Christian climbs up. Hardy climbs up. Kane dealing with Christian. Matt Hardy and Cody going at it at the top of the ladder. Kane dealing with Matt Hardy. I think the Kofi spot has been the best spot so far. Bang into the ladder. Cody is up there. Kane has got his leg. He's trying to drag him down. Boom! Big shot. Down goes Cody. Cody going to the outside as that briefcase is swinging around. Dolph Ziggler's back. Dolph Ziggler's back. Dolph Ziggler trying to climb up. Dolph Ziggler going over. Kane to the top. He's got his hand on the briefcase. Oh! Dolph Ziggler again. Desperately trying. Look at this. Sleeper hold applied. Sleeper hold applied. Into the ladder. And again. Bang. Bang. Oh, Ziggler down. Ziggler down. Days, I'm not sure, but I've got a feeling the wild card pick, The Miz, will win it all and eventually hold that title, said Hannah. Here we go. We got Dolph over on the side of the ring. And bah! Dolph Ziggler goes into the pile of ladders. Irish Sam said Truth must have known that entrance they gave him on this week was his final. No, apparently he only... Rumours are that he found out this weekend. I think the dirt sheets are pretty good at finding out bits, and the one thing they found out is that it was this weekend. I think he pretty much put that message out. I mean, he may have found out yesterday, but I don't think he knew like last weekend or anything. Right now, Cody is going up the entranceway. Who gets commercials during the Vault streams? Actually, think about it. Quite a few people might. I have YouTube Premium. I couldn't cope without it. I can't cope with adverts. I will happily pay to have them removed. Not only that, I don't have Spotify or anything like that, so I actually use YouTube as my main music, kind of, you know, if I need to listen to anything. YouTube Music's what I use. But I would pay it just to get rid of the adverts anyway. So, yeah, I don't get them, but I'd imagine people do. Christian trying to go up. Kane knocking Christian down. Shot coming in there by Matt Hardy. James said, Days, the fact that Jericho invented the Money in the Bank ladder match and never won it is hilarious. That is hilarious, actually. That is hilarious. Here we go, climbing up again. We got Christian one side, Matt the other. I feel like this match has probably just gone on a little beat too long. We'll have a look, see what Meltzer scored it. I know no one cares, but it'd be worth just having a look. It feels like there's not been loads of big spots. Shots coming in by Matt. It's a little bit like, you know, when you watch an old cage match and there's just a lot of people climbing the cage and you know then who wins if you go back and watch an old match. It's a bit like this, loads of people just trying to climb the ladder. I think for a Money in the Bank ladder match to kind of age well, you need lots of spots. You need lots of moments. If it's just going to be very heavy on people climbing the ladder trying to get it, that doesn't age very well because you know who wins. It's a bit like watching an old cage match where all they do is just try and climb the cage to escape. Matt Hardy and Christian both down. Here's Drew. The chosen one. Michael Cole said it would just be like Drew McIntyre to steal this match here. Wow. Wow. Here's Drew. I will tell you what Dave gave this match in a moment. Climbing up, Drew McIntyre trying to get the briefcase. Briefcase swinging away. He's close, but here's Kane. It's gotta be Kane. Kane climbing up over the other side. Drew grabs the briefcase. Kane grabs Drew. Boom! Drew McIntyre down. Kane grabs that briefcase. Crowd going crazy as Kane wins. Money in the Bank. Let's go. So, yeah, why was I surprised? I was surprised because Dave Meltzer gave this match 4 stars, which is maybe above where I would be. I would be 3.5375. I think it's fine. It's not the best ladder match I've seen. Actually, some of the spots in there are okay. The Kofi one's the big one. So, yeah, I'm a little surprised that Dave went that high. Should we see what you lot think? Let's get the... was Meltzer high? I think he was. He was in good spirits. He was in very good spirits. Kudos to all the superstars, says Jerry the King Lawler. It was a fun match, but I don't ever expect Dave Meltzer to really be higher about a WWE match than I am. So I looked at this and went, compared to other ladder matches, I would say this is 3.5375. So for Meltzer to be 4, I was expecting him to be like 2.5 or something. So for him to be 4, I was very surprised. Very surprised. So there we go. Kane wins Money in the Bank. Right, boom. I absolutely love the direction that they're cooking with Jacob Fatu, the legend that he's gonna become. He's going to be an even bigger monster than we realise. They are strapping that rocket to him, said Irish Sam. Hannah said Days the new Dave Meltzer with scoring it below what Meltzer scored it. Maybe. Perhaps I am Days Meltzer. Scoring it a little lower than Dave. Got to remember as well, though, that back in 2010, we hadn't seen load. We've had 15 years of ladder matches since then. So, maybe back then that was a bit more of a 4. But I think by just the sheer amount of Money in the Bank matches we've seen now, I feel like that's a touch lower. Here's Sheamus, the WWE champ. Sheamus against Cena in a steel cage match. Oh yeah, Nexus is around at this time. I believed I was untouchable. The Nexus. They're running at this time. I forgot that. So they'd attacked Sheamus the week before. I want to make sure Cena's got no excuses. It is weird seeing him with the WWE title, isn't it? I didn't actually think about Sheamus. You know, we were talking about people that should face Cena in his final run, his final year. I never thought about Sheamus being one of those people. It's not a name that kind of comes to mind, first of all, when you think about, like, who should Cena fight. You think Punk, you think Randy. But, yeah, he could absolutely do this match. This could be a Saturday night main event type match. Cena in that cage. I'm going to give you a beating. It's a long promo, isn't it? Long promo. We need one more Sheamus Cena match, said Ace. Joe said, I miss Matt Striker. Okay, here we go. Time for the ladies. So, is it who's actually going to be in this match? I don't know the flipping. This is this a multi-woman match or? It's a Divas Championship match. So it's just Eve Torres versus Alicia Fox. Dream match. Guys, it's dream match time. And just looking at Wikipedia, this goes for 25 minutes, this match. It doesn't. Why is Gutenberg... Ah, it's a place. Multi-vehicle collision in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Well, The Miz is trending. Why is The Miz trending? Is it because of his words? Yeah, I think he's trending because of what he's said about R-Truth. I haven't seen actually, I mean, not long before we went live, we obviously found out about Carlito. I just didn't know if there'd been any other news. You just don't know, do you? Thankfully, it looks like there hasn't been. Jonathan Coachman slams WWE over R-Truth's release. Says company ignored his value outside the ring. Okay. Here we go. Then we are up and running and underway as Eve taking on Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox, who obviously returned to wrestling and is in TNA at the moment. Eve Torres going through. Right, I'm probably one of the few that likes that belt design, said King Yeti. King Yeti, if you like it, I now like it. That's how that works. Dort Knight, hello. Hope you're doing well. The Who review said I didn't like that Divas title. Colliding into Alicia. Alicia goes down. Eve Torres with Alicia. Alicia reversing. Eve Torres into the corner. Eve going up. Grabbing Alicia. Eve Torres comes down off the corner. Alicia goes back into the corner. It's not the same kind of standard as what we see out of the women, you know, out of like Julia and Stephanie and Roxanne and whatever. But, you know, they really didn't get much to work with. I mean, this match, I think it goes legitimately for like 5 minutes. That's it. They get like 5 minutes to work with. I don't think there was ever really an expectation that they go out there and put on a 5-star classic. Eve being dragged back into the ring by a hair there by Alicia. Going for the cover. 1, 2. Shoulder up. Shoulder up by Eve. Crowd's a little bit quiet for this one. Again, the crowd really not bothered. Not invested. Probably given no reason to get invested. Again, Eve Torres against the rope. Bang, another shot. Eve Torres going down. So right now, Alicia in control. She's grabbing the hair of Eve. She's got a... look at that. Look at that. It's a lovely looking backbreaker. She's got over a knee. And Eve is really being stretched out. Oh. And again... it looks really good. Eve really selling, really struggling here. Smile on the face of Alicia. Knee coming in, and again there. Eve Torres goes down. Crowd starting to get a little more invested. Knee to the midsection as Eve coming back. Alicia over the other side, reversed. Eve Torres against the ropes, goes up. Tilt a whirl. 1, 2. Shoulder up. Shoulder up. Alicia was always quite entertaining. She, like, where she would like screech and squeal and scream out. She was always quite unhinged. Knee still in the back as Eve trying to get back up to her feet. Crowder, these girls are working, man. You can see the selling that Eve's doing. She's trying to... oof, wow. Eve trying to get over to the other side. Getting back up to her feet. Alicia, back elbow there by Eve. And another back elbow as well. Alicia in the middle of the ring. Coming over. Duck underneath. Against the ropes. Eve Torres. Whoa, lovely crossbody. 1. Just a 1. Just a 1. Drop kick. Single leg drop kick. And again. Alicia goes down. Coming in. Looking for a suplex. No joy. No joy. The back. The back. Some nice selling there if you think about the work that they've done to the back of... another big boot. If you think about the work that was done to her back. Oh, standing moonsault. 2. Oh, it's actually low-key better than I remember. I don't even remember women's matches being this good. Honestly, I think a lot of fans at this time were just sort of like... saw this as the bit of a bathroom break and like... didn't really get invested, like wasn't really connected, didn't really care about who won, and do you know what I mean? You'd be watching it, giving it a glance, but actually sitting here and watching it and seeing what they would do, oh, knees up. It's actually low-key not bad at all. Alicia getting her knees up. The Divas were starting to cook, really. It set the stage for what we have today, said Ace. Drove said, I remember Alicia. Well, it's Alicia that picks up the victory. Alicia. There we go. Holding up that Divas Championship. Sign in the crowd says, Mommy, I'm here. My God, someone's time traveled from the future. Mommy, I'm here. Look at that kick to the back of the head. Oh, like an axe kick. She put many, many people away with that. Dancing away in the entranceway. Oh, hello, look at this. We got some cups. You don't get one, you don't deserve one, he said to Matt Striker. Oh, yeah. Who attacked The Undertaker? And Kane was going around accusing everyone. So it seems like at this point he's accused Jack Swagger of attacking The Undertaker. Days fun fact, the inaugural Money in the Bank pay-per-view was the only pay-per-view to have a different theme song than the Money, Money, Money one. Every year, 2024 was the exception. Fun facts. Yeah, we are back to that this year, aren't we? It's a tune. Jack Swagger on the outside as Kane has his father. Bang! He didn't even come to his father's aid. Tombstone as well. Brutal. Brutal. Sorry, Dad. Oh, he's on his phone to his mom. How's Dad's? Oh. Tells his mom to shut up on the phone. You can hear people booing in the crowds. As far as I'm concerned, Dad got what he deserved. He was trying to steal my spotlight. His acting skills aren't brilliant, are they? He's not really giving her a chance to talk, but he's reacting as if she's just said something. Dad would have done the same thing to me. I could see us, I mean, we didn't, but I could see us doing something like this with the whole Dominic Ray story. You could imagine Dominic backstage on the phone to his mom going off on his mom, you know? Saying she married a deadbeat and all that stuff. I could, you know, I could see that. There's the Money in the Bank trucks. Right, let's go, the Usos. Oh my God, look at these. Mate, look at where we are here. No reaction. They haven't long been in. They're still with Tamina. They haven't even gone Uso crazy. Guys, this is one of the greatest tag teams in WWE history. You should be making some noise. This music sucks as well. The ring gear sucks. Here we go, look. They're making some noise for the Hart Dynasty. There's Natalia. Davey Boy's son. Tyson Kidd. This is going to be good, man. Low-key, this will be fun. Right, let's go. Deadbeat Chicken Tendies, Dominic Mysterio. Let's do the poll, shall we, for that last match? What did you think about Eve Torres, Alicia Fox? Here we've got Hart Dynasty making their way down. They're going to be taking on the Usos. There is a lot to talk about, isn't there? Nice takeover. Usos getting up. These two feuded a lot. I think, actually, didn't they go after them when they first came in? Triple H disapproves of this stream, said TXIG. Well, I disapprove of R-Truth being let go. There we go. Okay, we've got Smith, Tyson, Kidd. They worked well together. 1, 2, Usos just hadn't found their look or rhythm or anything at this point. But there was, the potential was there. Of course it was. Shot coming in. Down goes DH Smith. Didn't even know how good we would have it with the Usos at this time. It's crazy to see them 15 years ago as virtually unknowns. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's easy to forget, isn't it, how when people start out, like you look at them and where they get to, you know, you go back and look and see, like, just, you could look at the Usos and at the time you might have been like, yeah, I think there's something there. I think we could get something out of them. I like them. They work well together. They're Rikishi's kids. They've got a future. But, I mean, would you know that they would go on to be arguably the greatest tag team in WWE history? Jay would go on to be a world champion. That they would main event a WrestleMania. You know, it's so hard to predict, isn't it? But I think even back then, you would have known that they would have gone on to have done something because, you know, the fact that they're the sons of Rikishi, they're obviously good in the ring. You can watch their work. They're not bad. They work well as a team. They're brothers. They're very marketable. Just hadn't quite found their groove at this point. And again, you know, it just brings me back to Austin Theory. It just brings me back to Grayson Waller. Like, I think... Not everyone. I think there's certain parts of the IWC that can sort of give up on people very quickly. Just like, yeah, it's not working. They're you know, they're buried, they're washed, and all this kind of stuff. Like, people go to that very, very quickly. When the truth is that it is a process. And you might not nail it first time. You've just got to make sure you nail it eventually. Because your time can run out. You know, if the Usos hadn't found their groove... If they hadn't become Uso crazy, if they'd kind of stayed with this look and this presentation, perhaps they would have run out of road. But they were able to kind of find something that connected and, you know, build from there. Uso's trying to go over, make the tag. I think is that Jimmy. Boom, drop kick. Down he goes again, back up on his feet, kick to the midsection. Against the ropes goes Tyson Kidd, drop kick to the side of their heads. Again, more kicks coming in. Made by Dawn, hello. Said, hey everyone, I just woke up. I had a crazy allergic reaction that I needed to take some meds. Crazy about R-Truth. I saw Truth as a lifer, but the mighty dollar is powerful. Ain't that the truth? We got Tyson Kidd on the outside. Going over the top. On the back. Lovely work. Look at that. Great pin, but the tag was made and Tyson didn't see it. Picked up. Planted. 1, 2. Kick out. Bradley, hello, buds. Shout out to you. Shots raining down. Michael said, I want to see Jimmy versus Jay for the belts. Another big slam. Going over to the outside. Looking to go up, perched. Splash, but knees up there by Kids. On the outside, Tamina looking concerned. Tyson trying to get over and make that tag. The Hart Dynasty. I really loved the Hart Dynasty. I was so disappointed when they were no longer. His D.H. Smith is someone I would have liked to have seen kept around. Yeah, no, he looked like he was going for that sharpshooter, but he couldn't quite get it on as Tamina distracts. Here's Natalya. Going round, scooping up Tamina. Bang. Nice kick coming in. Down he goes. Sharpshooter about to be applied. Tyson coming over. Drop kick. To the outside, crossbody, boom! Sharpshooter in! And it's a win for the Hart Dynasty. Knew it wouldn't be long. But there we go, Hart Dynasty. Retain. Let's get these match scores for that last match. God, we're blasting through these matches. So let's get one set up for this tag match. Jimmy versus Jay was effing awful, says James. It really was. I've heard them say they want to redo it to try and get some redemption. It's going to be a hard sell. I mean, the casuals might tune in for it, but I think the hardcores will be like... They could do it, though, couldn't they? They could do it. They could do that match and make it work. I still think, like... Because we went into that with so much optimism. I think the reason why it's regarded as one of the worst matches in WWE history is because of the fact that, you know, there's clearly a lot worse, but the expectation was so high. Okay. I Fight Dragons. I loved the Usos theme song, Lipstick by Jedward. Lipstick by Jedward. Do I know? I don't know if I know it. That wasn't their song, was it? It's a shame Tyson Kidd can't wrestle in WWE anymore. He's a trainer, isn't he? Okay, Rey Mysterio. Look at this. This is when we're doing like the whole straight edge thing. He's going to be taking on Jack Swagger. I can give you the scores. So I think this is going to be our next match. Rey versus Jack Swagger. Punk. Fatal 4-way, Rey Mysterio, Punk, Swagger. Boom. Rey Mysterio winning that world championship, so he comes into this event as world champion. Jack Swagger not pleased about that. Oh, do we think Jedward could be great wrestler? I haven't thought about Jedward in like 15 years. Are they even still around? Are they even still a thing? They're kind of mentally in the same part of my brain as the Cheeky Girls. Just like some people that were big that were on like, wasn't it like Britain's Got Talent or X Factor or Pop Idol or something like that? And then they just were on TV all the time on reality shows, but I ain't seen them in years. It's funny, actually, if you think about some of those celebrities that were big that you just don't see anymore, don't hear from anymore. The funniest championship match was the Hogan finger poke of doom, said Michael. AB said, I was at the McMahon Hart match at WrestleMania 26. That was an awful match. Yeah. Legit might be the worst in WrestleMania history, that. I mean, Brett was so laboured with his movement. He had nothing to give, really, in that match. He looked like he was, impaired. But he'd had strokes and everything, hadn't he? And it just... Yeah. Brett actually looks back on that match with quite a bit of fondness, believe it or not. I don't know if he's in a bit of denial or what, but he's not down on the match. He's quite happy with the fact that, like, the story of the match and the way it played out. But, guy sucks. It really sucks. I'm enjoying this pay-per-view way more than 54% of Triple H. I'm enjoying the lack of celebrities and advertisements and self-loving, said Dortnight. Interesting. Check 1, 2. Here's Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger making his way out. Brett was cooking during the dark matches, though, said Ace. Wrestler Danny said it's crazy that 2010 is now a nostalgia era. It's true. It won't. 2020 will be a nostalgia era soon. It probably is. Looking back at the pandemic when there was no people around. Think about going back and watching Ray having his eye poked out by Seth. That's nostalgia now. I haven't seen WrestleMania 36, I think, since it aired. I don't think we've done a watch-along for that. I have no desire to do one. It sucks, but... yeah. 2010 is 15 years ago, in all fairness. I mean, that is like being in the year 2000 and going back to 1985. In the year 2000, watching WrestleMania 1 is kind of like what we're doing now, isn't it? It is crazy how quickly time flies. Here's Ray. Boy, 619. Okay, I did have the Meltzer scores. Let's have a look and see where we are. I don't think Meltzer was crazy about the other matches we just saw. Yeah, no, he wasn't. So, the first match got 4 stars. Alicia Fox, Eve Torres, 0.75. Mate, I thought that was better than 0.75. I think that's harsh. Yeah, Ray struggling a little bit, limping as he's walking. So Alicia Fox, Eve Torres, 0.75. Hart Dynasty versus Usos, 2.75. Yeah, he didn't really enjoy either of those. Not loads of matches left, honestly. We've got another Money in the Bank coming up. We've also got the Women's Championship, which is going to see Layla against Kelly. So a couple of matches coming up after this. We've already been live for this for an hour and 10 minutes. I must say, it's gone quickly. I did feel like the Money in the Bank match probably went a little long. But I don't feel like I've been watching this show for about an hour and 10 minutes. It's going by at a decent pace. Brett and Sean both had their last Mania matches on the same event. Ah, that's a fun fact. Sean said, people get mad at celebrities. I wanted to read that, but it jumped off. Here. People get mad at celebrities, but they have been around since WrestleMania 1. They have, and before. Is Tony doing the announcing? RBD Blaze said, you might have said this already, but WWE not renewing Carlito's contracts. Yeah, no, they're not. We've not spoke about Carlito too much. It's the R-Truth news has been obviously the bigger news, but I mean, I was not around for that when that dropped earlier, but I was around when the Carlito news came through. So I did a separate video talking about both of those. So there is a separate video on that. But yeah, we've kind of touched on it. The Carlito one doesn't surprise me as much. Nowhere near as much as the R-Truth one, but, you know, still sad, of course. Ray is on his feet. We've got Swagger. Over on the other side, these two circling around each other. Ray on his toes as Swagger charges over. Ray goes back to the corner. Let's end that poll. Usos versus Hart Dynasty. Swagger likes what he sees as he goes over. He grabs Ray, picks him up, drives him over into the corner. So Ray over in the corner and a shot to the midsection. Ray push him back. Kicks coming in there by Ray as Swagger goes down. Ray against the ropes. Between the legs. Swagger grabbing the leg of Ray. Kick coming in there by Ray. And again, Swagger goes down. Swagger over by the ropes. Few kicks coming in there by Ray. Swagger looking over at Ray, charging over. Ray moves out the way. Ray on his feet, going against the ropes. Swagger coming over. Ray, bang, kick to the midsection. Kick coming back there by Ray. Going up springboard, lovely. Gets caught there by Swagger. Ray driven into the corner. Ray upside down in the corner as Swagger has got him kind of tied up. Swagger going over. Evil Realms. Evil Realms. Realms. Ray. Outside. Bang. Days, do we think R-Truth shows up on Raw anyway? That's a real tricky one because they've basically said we're not going to renew your contract. I think it would be really good if they did show him and if R-Truth got an opportunity to say thank you to the fans. The problem you're going to have, though, is the crowd would be chanting, please don't go, we want truth. I mean, they'll be chanting that anyway, but you might be able to distract them with story or, you know, what's going on. The crowd will chant that, but if you've got something interesting going on in the ring, then, you know, you might be able to distract them and get their attention onto something else. if you've got R-Truth out there, you obviously the crowd are going to be focused on him. So I am not expecting to see him, but I think it would be a real bad PR move to not have him say something before he goes, to not give him the opportunity to say some words before he leaves. I think would be a real shame. Another big boot coming in. I've got to think AEW would move for him, you know. Tony Khan ain't worried about money. TKO are like trying to cut down on the wage bill, but I don't think Tony's too worried. I mean, he doesn't need to offer him as much as he's earning now, but he could offer him more than what WWE were going to offer him. And WWE might have offered him nothing, honestly. So, yeah, I sort of... but I don't know if he'd go there. I mean, it's the real world. He's not going to turn down AEW. He doesn't owe WWE anything. I know that'll be a hard thing for WWE fans to accept, but it's WWE that are parting ways with him. It just, I think there is this bad taste around Edge. I don't feel like WWE fans have got the same love for Edge now that they did before. If he came back, I'm sure all would be forgiven, but honestly, I don't think people don't feel quite the same. It's kind of like he left WWE and went to the competition. I don't know how people would react if R-Truth went there. It's a bit different, though. We know that WWE didn't release Edge, or that was a bit botchy, that Samoan drop. They just didn't give him another full-time contract. I think we all know that Ray is going to retain, said AB. Well, I would say stay away from spoilers, guys. There's plenty of people that won't have seen these shows, so there's not really much benefit in like putting results in. Ray down over in the corner. Jack Swagger over the other side. Charging in, coming over. Bah! Kick coming in there by Ray. And Ray is trying to pull himself back over to the corner. It's been a real good contest, this. Ray just struggling with his movement here, with his mobility here. He's trying to climb up, going up top. He's perched. Oh, lovely seated senton. Down goes Swagger. Oh. Rey Mysterio back in the corner. Big boot there by Ray. Ray coming in round the houses. Swagger over into the corner face first. Ray trying to go over to the outsides. Ray is going up, climbing up. See, oh, look at that landing on Swagger. 2. Kick out. I've not seen this Money in the Bank show, says PJ. Days, WWE should make an ECW channel. I think there was rumours that there was going to be an ECW channel. I think there was rumours they were working on one. Going for the pin. 2. Oh. Days, I tweeted earlier, but I don't think you've seen it yet. Are there any plans on doing the first Evolution? There is a retro watch-along. As a retro watch-along. No. Not unless WWE Vault do it. These watch-alongs are... I enjoy doing them, and like Evolution would make total sense. I would hope that Vault would show the first one the week before this one. And so if so, then yes, of course we would be able to do it. But no, actually doing watch-alongs as standalone things, I think there's only limited interest in that. The great thing about doing the WWE Vault ones is that WWE promote them. So they're like, they talk about them. People can jump in. If someone jumps in now, they can find where we are straight away. They can find it on YouTube and they can catch up. And, you know, without this, like WWE aren't promoting it. If people jump in, they'll want to know where we are with the stream, with the show. it's just not as good. So, yeah, it makes sense. I can only hope that Volt show it. Because it would make sense. But I get lots of people asking, like, oh, will you do WrestleMania this? Will you do WrestleMania that? Will you do this show, that show? It's like, I just do whatever WWE Volt show. That's kind of my approach to it. And they've been pretty good, actually. They've been pretty consistent at doing these shows. The only reason they didn't do one last week is because we had Battlegrounds. This week we've got Money in the Bank, obviously build into next weekend's Money in the Bank. I don't know if they'll do anything next Sunday, but I would hope they would show Evolution before this year's. So it's a good question. Swagger. Reversed into a DDT. That looked really good. Ray going over, looking for the cover. 1, 2. Kick out by Jack. Yeah, that was a lovely looking DDT. Shockwave, shout out to you. Big Time said, Days, I feel like since 2020 we've had at least over 200 wrestlers released. I don't know that number, actually. That would be interesting. I don't know what the number is. 619 connects 619 connects. Ray on the outside, springboards. Swagger catching Ray into the ankle lock. Ankle lock is in. Ray trying to get over to the ropes, and he does. Grabs the ropes. Just manages to grab the ropes. Jack Swagger charging him. Going up. Boom! Connects. Ray is down. Ray is in trouble. Boom! Another one. Connects. Jack Swagger on his way to reclaiming that World Heavyweight Championship. Bit of blood on the mouth of Jack Swagger. Stomp coming in. And again. Another kick coming in. He was standing on the leg. Ray just checking his leg there. His boot is kind of half off. That boot is really loose. And there we go. He's managed to get out of the boot. Shades of Eddie. 1, 2, 3. Gets it. My God. So a bit of an Eddie finish where the boot was loose. Ankle lock was on, but the foot slips out and is able to roll up. Jack Swagger retain the World Heavyweight Championship. Against all odds, Rey Mysterio has retained. I think Matt Striker said, I can't believe it. And Jerry Lawler was like, well, get used to it. Get used to it. Michael Cole said, we thought Ray was loosening the boot to alleviate the pain. Michael Cole's trying to give Ray credit, but Jerry Lawler's like, well, let's not give him too much credit. That might not be like what his strategy was. He might have just been trying to alleviate the pain, but it did work to his advantage. Jack Swagger again. This time there's no boot that can be released. There is a ankle lock applied. Jack Swagger with that ankle lock in, and Ray is tapping away. Here's Kane. Kane coming down. Unloading on Jack Swagger, and the crowd are excited to see Kane coming down. Kane with Swagger smashing him into the barricades. Another big shot coming in. Swagger going up the entranceway. Kane chasing him to the back. This is so good. This is being done so well. So Ray holding up the championship. Kisses the belt. Back up on his feet. Smile on his face. Kane's music hits. And here he is with the briefcase. Kane comes down, chases Jack Swagger away, then re-emerges with a referee and a briefcase. The briefcase that he won earlier in the night. Look at Ray in the corner. An injured Rey Mysterio. There we go. Kane hands the briefcase over. Kane over the other side. This will be a title match. Let's go. I don't mind this from time to time, where they do it on the same show. They just do it on the same show a little bit too much, to be honest. Right now he grabs, slams him down. Knee first, and he's in a lot of pain now. He was in a lot of pain before, he's in a lot of pain now. Kane with Ray. Choke slam. Choke slam. Taker 1990 said, ever since Kane was unmasked, he just lost that aura. That is true. He didn't hit the same. Okay, I love how he picked him up with one arm. That looks so good. Bah! Planted tombstone. Goes for the pin. 2, 3, and new world champion. Kane getting the job done. Yeah, I don't mind the cash-in on the same show. There's definitely a place for it. But I just think it's something we've done way too many times. Okay, so what did you think about Ray? I'm going to actually put it in the poll because Ray Kane, there's no point scoring that. But what did you think about Ray against Jack Swagger? What did you think about that? Days, I remember thinking 2010 was a good year in general. Where was you at the end of 2010? I was at work. I worked in retail, didn't I, for 15 years, as I said, so I was at work, working in retail. I think 2010 I was in Birmingham. I don't think I'd moved to Milton Keynes or Ipswich or Southampton at that point. I think I was in Birmingham still. Bang. Planted. Big Time said, Days, Tony Khan, the last 2 years, has really changed his hiring strategy. He's not hiring release wrestlers. So if WWE lets you go, the indies to make ends meet is your only option. Well, that's not true. I mean, he obviously picked up Edge. He picked up Ricochet. So, I mean, there's definitely people that have gone from WWE over to AEW. So, I mean, maybe some of those names a bit further down the card are not finding that opportunity, but there's still people being picked up by AEW. Here's Jericho. Here's Edge. We've still got the steel cage match to come as well. I'm going to cash in on Cena and Sheamus. I guess the fun is just beginning. It's fun. Little promo between those two. Jericho and Edge. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Let's go. She was on TNA the other day as well, I saw. Kelly. Kelly. So nice. They named her twice. She's taking on Layla, isn't she? We looked at that earlier. Okay, Kelly against Layla. Here's Barbie, said Dr. Lucha Lala. There's Michelle. Smelly Kelly. That's where we was as a women's division. Oh, her first opportunity at the women's championship. Late call. Let's go. The names that are willing to walk from WWE are the ones that Tony picks up. There's mindset change to do with too many bridges burnt with talent using AEW as a stepping stone, like Miro, Malachi, Andrade. What? The names that are willing to walk away are the ones that Tony picks up. There's a mindset change. Tony will pick up anyone that he thinks is going to add value to his show. I don't think it makes any difference if they walk or if they are released. I think that he is looking for skills and talent, and WWE has got that. I mean, it's a crazy conversation, honestly. It's a crazy conversation to say that they shouldn't be interested in WWE released talent, because WWE, you know, it's such a big reach. These people have got name value. I think what you've got to be careful of is making sure you're not bringing in people just because they've been on WWE. You've got to obviously bring in people that you think have got room to grow, that have got something to offer. And that's always going to be a mixed bag. You know, Toni Storm left WWE. She was over in WWE. If you have a policy of not taking people that have been in WWE, you're going to miss out on some of your best talent. I mean, Swerve came over from WWE, and Toni Storm came over from WWE, and you know, there's a lot of people. Ember Moon, Athena came over from WWE. She's done really well. She's been like the Ring of Honor Women's Champion for ages, and you know, she had a really banging match with Mercedes, and so I don't think that it's anything to do with like released talent or talent that's walked or anything like. I think it's just it's talent. You judge everyone on their own merit, don't you? Don't bring someone in just because they've been in WWE. Bring people in that you think have got growth, that have got something to add, that are going to make your promotion better. Whether they've walked or whether they've been released makes no difference. It's a case of, you bring people in that have got the skills that you think are going to make your promotion better. So I don't disagree that the amount of people that are coming over is different, less. I don't disagree that it's more selective, but I certainly don't see that as being a door that's closed for people. Oh. Drop kick and Kelly goes to the outsides. I met Kelly at WrestleCon. She was cool, said Taker 1990. The original Barbie girl. Big Time said, Days, Will Ospreay recently did an interview. He said, you need to be elite level wrestler to be here. He said, work in indies and grinding if you want to get noticed. Yeah. I saw that interview. He says that AEW are above just taking anyone from WWE now. The talent is a lot higher. I mean, that's Will Ospreay speaking. That's not Tony Khan speaking. And the other difference as well is that I think they are in a different place. I do agree with that they are being more selective. And I do agree that just, 20 people get released, we're going to take 15 of them or whatever, 10 of them or whatever. Now 20 people get released, you might take 1 or 2. Whereas back in the day, it might have been 8, 10. So, I mean, I don't disagree with his comment that it is now harder to get into AEW because the talent they've acquired, like Ospreay, like Okada, have come in and taken some of those spots. But that is not a closed door. That is not a closed door. It's a case-by-case basis. Kelly getting back into the ring. I loved Kelly as a kid, said Jake. Here's a pin by Layla. Oh, gets it. Layla gets the pin on Kelly. Layla goes to the outside where there's Michelle celebrating. Just a nonsense match, honestly. What did he score that? 0.5. See, I think that's way worse than Alicia Fox Eve Torres, but Meltzer said this was only a quarter of a mark worse. But yeah, I didn't think that was brilliant. Okay, well, we've got a Money in the Bank ladder match, and we've got a steel cage match. So those are the only 2 matches that are left, and they should be 2 good matches. The crown thing is going to be like a victory royal in Fortnite. Jennifer said you can really tell where the women's matches have improved. Don't try this at home. Don't try this at home. Days, at this point, what would we say is more accurate, Meltzer's ratings or Days' ratings? Well, I don't give ratings, but I think I'm always interested in the community's thoughts. So with that being said, let's end this poll. Ray versus Jack Swagger. 10, 5, 27, 57. Layla versus Kelly. Let's get this poll up. The community is what I was referring to. Oh, I think the community scores are very good, honestly. I don't always agree. I mean, there'll be some times where I do a review video and I'm like, oh, I think the community were really high on this. I do find sometimes, if I was to criticize community scores, I do find that there's a bit of complaining about the match. It's not that great. It's a bit flat. I was hoping it'd be a bit better. And then you get something at the end, like a great closing sequence or some outside interference, and then all of a sudden the score just shoots. Do you know what I mean? It feels like it goes from being like good 90%, good 92% to like great 57, great 60. And it's all really down to like a few like little moments at the end. I mean, obviously, like, it's debatable how much those kind of moments would change a score, but it does seem to be that it's kind of like the last thing you see is like the impression you have of the match. You could have a match that's a bit of a sleeper, but as long as you got a good finish, it's going to get a really good score. That's the only thing I would say about the community scores, is that it just feels that a good finish can kind of influence those scores, rather than looking at the whole match, the whole picture, you know. That's the only thing, and I wouldn't even say it was that drastic. It doesn't happen all the time. It's just sometimes we can watch a match and we can be a bit like, oh, this is not what we were hoping for. Nice little finish, nice exciting end, and all of a sudden the score absolutely shoots up. Other than that, I think it's the community scores are really good. They're never, whenever I look to see how they compare to like cage match or something, not that I really look at cage match. I don't look at cage match for really Raws. I look at cage match for like pay-per-views because there's a lot more votes. They're normally bang on there or thereabouts, yeah. So I think they're really good. But if ever there is a deviation, it's normally that we've gone a little higher because we've got a bit overexcited. I think there's a few kids in our community that maybe get a little overexcited sometimes. Sometimes you can see some pretty rubbish stuff and it gets all time and you're like, what's this about? But it averages out really well. Okay, Randy in the ring. Here's The Miz. Okay, so Layla against Kelly. You lots weren't crazy about Ray against Jack Swagger. You said it was good 90. You said Usos against the Hart Dynasty was good 93. Alicia against Eve Torres was good 90. You wasn't even that crazy about the first ladder match. You said it was good 96. It's just been a lot of good stuff tonight. Just good. Here's Maurice coming out with Ted DiBiase. He's in big trouble, isn't he? He's in big trouble. Days, are you able to list the current champions on the main roster? It took me about 5 minutes to figure out who was holding mid-card titles. Yeah, well, Jacob's got the one, hasn't he? Intercontinental champ is Dominic. Tag team champions, New Day? New Day have got the ones, and Street Profits have got the others. Top titles, Jay and John. Women's champions, Io and Tiffany. Yeah, I mean, I would say the New Day one's probably the hardest one. Just, you don't really see the tag belts get like defended. Doesn't really feel like they're that big of a story. SmackDown ones are bigger. They're at least doing something with the SmackDown tag division. Here's John Morrison. King Yeti said, look at the $1 million jailbirds. Break the walls down. The $1 million jailbirds. Here's Jericho. Do you know, there was a really good point made earlier. Was it Dr. Lucha Lala said about how it's good that if there is a positive about the R-Truth news, at least it's not hit during Raw. And God, that is so true. I feel like this stream has been really overshadowed by the R-Truth news. And it has. I mean, we've been talking about R-Truth and Carlito for the hour before. And it's kind of like, we've been like touching back on it as well. And I think it really has kind of derailed the stream tonight. Rather than just like really getting stuck into stuff, like you've got all of that conversation. And it's not fun conversation either, is it? Like people being released. Here's Edge. Hopefully tomorrow for our Raw stream we'll be, we will have moved on mentally. It's going to be very interesting, the reaction, though. Very interesting. Here's Rated R Superstar. Stack lineup in this one. I was a little critical of the match earlier. But here with Jericho and Edge. Mark Henry, John Morrison, Randy Orton, Miz, Ted DiBiase, Evan Bourne. I think Edge might be the last man. Evan shines in these matches. Evan's is built for these matches. There we go. The bell has sounded. And we've got one ladder in the ring. Sign in the crowd says, fear the apex predator. Shots coming in. Mark Henry throwing in a blow there to the Miz. Evan Bourne coming over. There's a headbutt there by Mark Henry. Cameron said, I think WWE might be waiting for Jericho to retire before they put him in. Yeah, I would think so. I mean... it was quite surprising when he went on was it the Stone Cold podcast, the Broken Skull Sessions? He was a guest on that whilst being an AEW superstar, which was a real surprise. So I can't say 100% that they're waiting for that, but yeah, I would say it definitely feels like they're waiting for him to retire. Putting people in whilst they're still active is not the norm, really. It obviously has happened, and Rey Mysterio went in. Heyman went in whilst being an active superstar or an active performer. But even Heyman was very clear when he went in. He was like, I don't want people thinking I'm retiring. I don't want people thinking this is me done. John Morrison throwing in a forearm shot, clubbing blow. Steve said that was a bit of an awkward start to the match. Everyone was just kind of standing around the ladder on the ground. It was awkward. Nine Dot Holiday said they released R-Truth, but not Little Jimmy. I guess they're looking to give him a bit of a push. He's still got youth and some size to him. Thoughts? I wouldn't be shocked if Little Jimmy walks, honestly. They might not have announced Little Jimmy's release, but if R-Truth goes, one thing I know about Little Jimmy is he's very loyal. Fiercely loyal. So I think if R-Truth goes, I think Little Jimmy goes as well. Miz with the ladder, throwing in some shots there by Jericho. Jericho knee to the midsection. Miz throwing back some blows over by the ladder. Mark Henry bringing in a ladder. Big shot coming in there by Jericho. Dude in the crowd with candy floss. Again, just things you don't see. I could not tell you the last time I saw someone in the crowd selling candy floss. What happened to that? Where did them people go? Why do arenas not do this anymore? There he is, look, there he is. Candy flop. Man, you candy flop. Candy flop. Oh, my God. Mark Henry jumping onto the back of the head and the neck of the Miz, who spills to the outsides. Jericho driving a ladder into Mark Henry. I could do that job, you know. I could do that job. I could go to the arena. Candy blood. Yeah, you can. Popcorn. Popcorn. If you like some popcorn, hot dog. Hot dog. I don't know why they would say it that way, but in the UK, you do find people saying things like that. Evan trying to climb the ladder. Evan climbing up. There's no one around. Oh, there is. Edge in the ring. Carl said, I can't even remember the last time I had candy floss. Candy floss? It even sounds old, doesn't it? Candy floss. It's like, what's candy floss? Oh, we used to have it back in the day. It's like air. It's like air that you eat, and it's very sugary. And it was called candy floss, yeah. It used to come on a stick. So sometimes, and there was this machine, right? And you put the stick in, and you'd like do that with the stick, and it would like grow and attach to it. And sometimes it'd be like that big. Kids today be like, "Are you making this up?" No, I swear that is, you know. That was a little treat we used to have back in the day. During the war, Ted DiBiase coming in. John Morrison in the ring. Evil Relum said Little Jimmy beats John Cena and claims the title. If this was the Indies, that's the match we would book. In certain indie promotions, if R-Truth was being released, I could see Little Jimmy wanting revenge, and they could book. I could see that being a match that Kota Ibushi would do, or Kenny Omega. With there's footage of them wrestling like blow-up dolls and stuff like that. So them wrestling Little Jimmy is not honestly out of the realms of possibility on the indie circuit. I'm not sure we would do it in WWE, but maybe during the pandemic in a fever dream. Going over, John Morrison trying to grab a ladder. 9. Holiday said, I was watching the 2023 Survivor Series stream. That day still liked AEW. Pretty sure I've seen that version in the Diddy house with Tony K and Ospreay. I still like AEW, some of their I still like Tony Storm, and I still like Ospreay. I think he's a great wrestler. I think back then I would have been enjoying Daniel Bryan as well, or Bryan Danielson. Obviously MJF's a great talent. Might not be fully utilising him, but he's a great talent. So, yeah, I mean, when it comes to AEW, there's plenty of stuff to admire. There's plenty of stuff to praise. Plenty of stuff. Like, if you're someone that doesn't watch AEW, there's no need really to make out that it's awful, it's all atrocious, that what a rubbish promotion, they don't know what they're doing, and all this kind of stuff. Like, you can say that if you feel that, but I think if you're being honest, there's some really good stuff about that promotion as well. But yeah, it just got to the point where there was more bad than good for me. Boom. Mark Henry in there, and he knocks over these two ladders, and loads of people spill to the outsides. There's Evan Bourne. Evan Bourne getting onto that top rope. He's gonna ride that. Oh, he is as well. Using the ladder to kind of help propel him across the ring. Maurice coming over, checking on her bow. It's weird, isn't it? Seeing Maurice with someone other than The Miz. Maurice is jumping up on the edge of the ring. Takes off her shoes. Gets in the ring. She's having a little look around. Ladders are down. She is grabbing a ladder. So all the guys are down. I mean, she could climb up here. I think she's maybe looking to do that. That ladder is set up. She's slowly climbing up. She's trying to reach up. Oh, that ladder's a little bit wobbly. Here's John Morrison. He grabs her by the ankle. He grabs her. Oh! On the shoulders. Oh, and he places her down. Tells her to go. Oh, in the background, that allows Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase. Ooh, down. Messy. Kick coming in there by Ted's. Ted with John. Oh. Edge of that ladder. Maurice safely on the outside. I really like Darby Allin as well, said 9. Holiday. My favourite when I was watching Weekly when Punk was there. Yeah, I like Darby. I'm not... he's not someone that I would get me to tune in, but he's definitely someone that adds to the show. I agree with you. I mean, what I really like about him is that he gives everything. His suicide dives are great. If he's in a ladder match, you know you're going to get some crazy spot, you know. So, yeah, he definitely provides. Definitely has a lot to give. Off the barricades. Howdy and the Wyatt Six used to love cotton candy back in the day. Did they? Stone Cold Fella, did they? Perhaps they still enjoy it now. Perhaps that's why we haven't seen them for so long, because they have just been enjoying candy floss. Or cotton candy. Edge trying to climb that ladder. Oh, that was nice. John Morrison using one ladder to get him to the other ladder that was in the middle of the ring. Right now, John Morrison has got one hand on that briefcase. Edge dragging him down. John Morrison caught up in the ropes. Or caught up in the ladder, sorry. Yeah, oh my God, he's really caught. He's got his arms through the one side. He's got his legs through the other. Right now, we've got Miz coming in. We got another ladder that's being put through that ladder. Ah! That is so brutal. What a great spot. That's great. That's so good. So John Morrison, kind of in between the ladder, they put another ladder above him and like jabbing it down into his midsection. You could do some serious damage with that. Yeah. So they Edge tips that ladder over. Some of these spots, man, are not going to be fun at all, are they? Some of these spots are just not going to be fun. Under those steps, there's like these kind of reinforcements. Under each step, you've got obviously you can see the edges of the steps. They're kind of come down a bit. I wonder how sharp those edges are. That might be something you might not really think about, but if you're caught in that ladder and the ladder gets tipped over and your body kind of grinds against it, I wonder how some parts of these ladders are probably quite moody, you know. Ted DiBiase with that ladder in the ring. Here's Randy. That was a great spot, said Steve. Evil said, Days, what's your favourite cotton candy? Is it the pink one or the blue one? Well, I don't know if they are any different flavour-wise. But I would always go blue over pink. I mean, blue is going to be like a bubblegum type, refreshing type. I don't know what, it might be blueberry, could be, but that'd be more a purple, I think. I'd go blue. I don't know what pink would be, actually. Could be a strawberry. Could be a strawberry. But it might be a cherry. Definitely not here for cherry. Yeah, I'd go blue out of those two options. Bang! You know what you're getting with orange? With blue, God, what flavour is it? God only knows. But with orange, you know what you're getting. It's the safe option. A refreshing option as well. Green. Oh, no one's having green. No one's having green. It could be apple, but it might be broccoli. It could be Brussels sprout. It's too risky, guys. Don't do it. Evan has got one hand on the briefcase, but Randy and Edge prevent him. They've got him up in the air and to the outside. He comes crashing down on top of Mark Henry. Mark Henry down to one knee at the moment. Codebreaker as well. Everyone's spamming their finishers. Codebreaker. Spear. Mark Henry finally goes down as Edge looks up at that briefcase that is swinging away above the ring. JP said, once private equity groups buy companies, they lose their soul. People blame it on The Rock, but it's the suits and ties that you don't see. Oh, yeah, people blaming The Rock. I wouldn't blame The Rock. I don't think this is a choice that The Rock has made. I think The Rock could have the ability to bring R-Truth back. It'd be quite interesting. I don't know that The Rock's been involved in this at all. I wonder if The Rock would have the ability... Well, he could raise it with the board that he's not happy about this release or, you know... I don't know that he will do that. Business is business, but... Yeah, I certainly don't think The Rock sat there and played any part in R-Truth. He's too busy. It's a board level. They're looking big picture. They'll set the budget number. They'll probably know what the budget number is. They'll probably review the budget number. But they ain't going to sit there and say, get rid of R-Truth. So I wouldn't be blaming The Rock on that. Yeah, shots coming in there by... We've got a load of wrestlers. We got a ladder. We got 3 ladders actually kind of set up. It's a big mess. In the ring, we got ladders. It's a weird mess, actually. It's quite the configuration. Ted DiBiase goes to the outside. As one of those ladders is thrown. Another ladder is kind of... Oh, boom! RKO! RKO by Randy. On Edge. That just leaves John Morrison and Jericho on a ladder, which is kind of leaning quite considerably. Shots coming in again there by Jericho as the briefcase swinging away. He's got one hand on it. Here's John Morrison. Again, another shot there by Morrison. And again, Jericho hanging on. Morrison trying to... break that hold as the briefcase continues to swing. Jericho upside down. He's hung upside down as Randy. I think he was thinking of going straight into that RKO, but he didn't get it. He couldn't get it. Evan Bourne is down. Jericho is upside down. Evan Bourne climbing up. Good, okay, bad 13, boom, boom, boom. Evan Bourne has got one hand on the Money in the Bank briefcase. Jericho, though. Evan's desperately trying to do it. He's desperately trying to do it. Jericho, shot to the midsection. Gods, he had to really fumble for a long time there. Jericho was a little late in stopping Evan. Evan was up there like, do you know, he doesn't deserve it. If you can't quickly release the briefcase, you don't deserve the briefcase. Jericho smashing Evan in the face. Evan goes down. Jericho still on the other side. Carlito adds that little extra something to Judgment Day, said Wrestling Russ. That's a briefcase swinging away. Yeet God, shout out to you, my friends. Here's Edge. Edge climbing up. 9.Holiday said, where's William Hensey? I took some notes on how to get to how to host a proper Diddy party. We can get something going for the community, but you must be 18 plus. Listen, William is around. I've already seen him. And I have no doubt he will help arrange that with you. Headbutt there by Edge and Jet. There he is, look. There he is. Boom. RKO by Randy. Edge at the top of the ladder. He's got one hand on it. Randy, though, back up on his feet. Randy climbing up. Knocks. That's a brutal, brutal spot. That's one of those spots that doesn't look crazy, but Edge getting like thrown into the middle of a ladder that's upside down, so he's going onto that bracket that's kind of going into his midsection hard, and then the ladder falls. I wouldn't like that bump. I wouldn't like that bump. Some of them bumps, like that one that Randy's just took, that's okay. But like, going like stomach first into that bracket of an upside down ladder. There we go. Crowd are booing away as The Miz grabs Money in the Bank. So Miz gets Money in the Bank, and the crowd were not having that. The biggest win of Miz. Oh God, of all the people in that match, that's the direction they went. There is The Miz holding up that Raw Money in the Bank briefcase. Matt Striker with never has a truer line been spoken. You will never hear the end of this. You will never hear the end of this. For everyone that said you couldn't do it, congratulations. You are looking at the future. Jerry Lawler said there might be a change in the air, but it doesn't smell too good. King Yeti said that win was awesome. He goes over, he gets given a microphone. He's got a few words to say. Look at Maurice looking up at him. I don't even know if they're dating at this time, seeing each other at this time. They could be. You are all living in my moment. I made it. I made believers out of all you cynics. I am Mr. Money in the Bank. Oof. If this crowd don't like it now, they ain't gonna like what's coming up in the future. Could you imagine if you went back to this crowd and told them everything that was going to happen in the years that would follow? You'd probably have to start with the pandemic, wouldn't you? You'd be like, this isn't wrestling related, but it kind of is as well. But just be aware, 2020 is wild. It's wild. That people would probably be like, back then, they'd be like, will Daniel Bryan ever be WWE champion? You're like, well, this is going to be quite complicated. Yeah, people weren't feeling that. I'm The Miz and I'm awesome, said Kader. Be serious, said, I feel like The Miz was the original Logan Paul coming from the real world on MTV and whatnot. Yeah, I can see that comparison. He didn't, I mean, to my knowledge, though, he didn't have any ill will towards him. I mean, I never watched The Real World, so, I mean, I can't really comment about it, but I know that the locker room weren't keen on him, and he was made to change in the corridor. He wasn't allowed in the actual locker room for a time. But, I mean, with Logan, obviously, you've got the Crypto Zoo stuff. You got the Suicide Forest stuff. I don't know that Miz came up with that kind of baggage, that kind of ill will. But yeah, him coming from the celebrity world. Yep. Right, let's have a look and get... I don't think we did a poll, did we? We need to do a poll for that. One more match to go then, kids. One more match to go. The WWE title on the line. This thing has already been going for 2 hours, 10 minutes. So, WWE Championship match, Sheamus versus John Cena inside of a steel cage. One more match to go. Nexus. They are a factor at this time. Days, what's the favourite Money in the Bank briefcase cover? Gold, blue, red, green, white, black. I think it might be the white one, honestly. The women's. Damien Sandow's looked quite classy. He had like a leather-bound one. Obviously, Brock's was quite fun with the sound system in. But actually, I think the briefcase that just visually looks the classiest, looks the best, looks the smartest is probably the women's, the white one. The green is okay. I don't hate the green. Red and blue makes sense, of course, for each brand. But yeah, I think the classiest is the white one. I don't know that there's any that I absolutely love. But yeah, I was never a big fan of the black one. The black just... There was a plain black one, and then they started putting WrestleMania logos on. And yeah, the black one just looked like it didn't have much thought to it. Tiffany's pink one was quite fun, but not a favourite. I've been going back and watching some R-Truth segments. It just gets funnier every time I watch them, said Uncle Revel. That was my favourite Money in the Bank win of all time. What, the Miz one? This one, the Miz one. I thought Kelly was going to get Broker in half last time in the Rumble. She was so tiny, said First 48. Right, quite a long video package as we are heading towards main event. Days hates the black one. You heard it here first. Yeah, I just thought it was a bit plain. It's probably the most neutral colour, isn't it? But I don't know. I think you can get a bit more creative. I mean, they don't go with black now, do they? They do green. It's probably better, but still not. I don't know. I still think you can do better. Here's Cena trying to keep the Nexus at bay. Maybe we could have the Nexus come back for Cena's last year. I'm sure they'd appreciate the work. Inside a steel cage. Let's go. Here we go. The steel cage has been lowered. If there's anything more demonic than the Nexus, it's this structure. No. Let's go. It's not Big Blue. I don't know when they moved away from the blue cage. I think it was around Attitude Era. I quite like these cages that have got like the... like gird, is it? Like, I don't know what you'd call it. It's not a girder, is it? But I've got like a bit around the top. Ba-da-ba. Don't think we've got that now. Trying to think, we had a steel cage match the other day, didn't we? We had Drew and Damien. I don't think they had that at the top. Here's John. John coming out first. Challenger coming out first. Main event for the WWE Championship. John Cena, Sheamus, steel cage match. Dun, 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 dun. Days, I know we've talked about this before, but Theory cashing in on a mid-card title only to lose. The worst, big time. The absolute worst. Cena getting in the ring. Do you know, I heard actually Triple H is not a fan of Money in the Bank. I heard that a couple of days ago when Unseen was down. And immediately I read that and went, well, that checks out. Everything about his Money in the Bank booking tells me he's not a fan of it. Tells me he doesn't know what to do with it. Tells me he's bored with it. So I thought that was quite interesting. Boomer said, I sometimes miss the big blue cage. We all do, but we all do. Wrestler Andy said, this was Cena's best shirt. It's quite similar to the one he had the other day, isn't it? With the orange. Here's Sheamus. Here's the WWE champion. WWE brand mayo. That's how white he is. Sheamus making his way down. Little mention of Buddy Rogers there by Michael Cole. Sheamus on the outside, having a little look around. One thing I will say about the spinner belt, right, is it's such an AI-looking belt. It's such a kind of outlandish design. It does fit the big, wacky world of professional wrestling. It might not look very prestigious. It might not be the most prestigious-looking world title. But just looking at it there, I was like, it is larger than life. It is very WWE. And obviously, they sold loads of them as toys and whatever. But you don't really get that feeling from the current belt design, you know? I can't say it's better, though. I can't say the spinabout is better. Spinabout was really not... It divided opinion. And I was more in the camp of not being a fan. And I haven't really changed my mind, to be honest. But to give it some props, to give it some flowers, it does feel quite wacky. It does feel very sports entertainment. It sort of demands that you look at it. There we go. It was after 1999 they started using the silver cage, said Andrus. Andrus, thank you. Referee showing Cena the championship, holding it up in the air, and we're going to be underway with our main event of the evening. Steel cage match, John Cena versus Sheamus. Let's get rid of the poll so we don't have any confusion. What did you lot think about that Money in the Bank match? Another good score. Another good score. This time, good 95. Not a single match tonight has been able to get into the great range. Not a single match. What kind of strategy should you employ? Says Michael asking Jerry Lawler. Here we go. These two locking up. Cena and Sheamus locking up. Cena trying to drive Sheamus back. Sheamus taking a little step back there. I like this version of Cena. I like the Cena that's got like the kind of white sneakers, the light jorts. Sometimes he wore like not denim. I like the denim ones. Kick coming into the midsection. And again, another shot coming in. Goes down. Knee coming in there by Sheamus. What about Damian Priest's purple Money in the Bank? The funniest one has got to be Otis's lunchbox. Yeah, Damian's was fine. It worked for him. I didn't love it, but it worked for him. It was very similar to the pink one for Tiffany. You know, again, didn't love it. I wouldn't buy it or anything, but it worked for her, of course. So yeah, I mean, they were fine. I think it's hard, isn't it, to make a Money in the Bank briefcase? Truth is, I've never loved any. There's not a single one I've ever looked at and gone, oh, that is amazing. They're all just, yeah, fine. The best one, the smartest one, I think, is the white one, personally, but it's just personal preference, isn't it? There's none of them that I love. It's not like belts. There's a lot you can do with belts. There's only so much you can do with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Cena down. This was peak John, said Wrestler with Andy. I remember this match, said Cringe Wolf. The hardcore belt needs to come back, said Cameron. Well, I think I think Mick Foley thought it had come back when we launched the 24/7 title. But I don't think he realised it was like a bit of a joke belt. But that's what it was. It was just a bit of a joke. Cena with Sheamus. Sheamus going into the corner. Sheamus going over the other side. Back elbow there by Sheamus. Cena goes down. Big Time said the spinabout looked great on Punk and Cena and Miz, but it would look bad on wrestlers that are not bigger. Big Time, shout out to you. Charging over, big knee coming in. Sheamus would just relish ramming John's face into the side, but didn't get it done, said AB. AB, I hope you're well. Tay said Sandow's briefcase. Yeah, the leather-bound one. Fun. Again. Shot coming in. That was so weird that they gave him the Money in the Bank, wasn't it? In retrospect. That's got to be one of the weirdest winners. Cena up against the side of the cage. Have you got predictions for Money in the Bank? Well, I'm going to do those, but I didn't want to do them just yet because I'd like to know the final people that are going to be in. So I think that's Monday. So what I might do is get something up for Tuesday. From a channel point of view, probably would have made sense to have got that video up today, but I'd rather know who's in it, Plus also, to be honest, the R-Truth news has sort of really derailed a lot today. I think this would have been a more fun stream had we have not had that R-Truth news, but, it's so hard talking about such a serious topic. One of our most loved wrestlers is no longer going to be around. And so conversations about that, conversations about TKO and the business side of things, they're not fun conversations. I am very pleased that they've done it today and not tomorrow. Hopefully our Raw stream should be back to normal, but yeah, it's one of those. I mean, it's just sucks, doesn't it? Today sucks. Cena going high and not being able to connect on Sheamus. 1, 2, shoulder up. The crowd is dead while they go through the motions of a typical feeling out process, says AB. The first 48 said this is back when Cena's muscles had muscles. Yeah. He does look different here, doesn't he? I was 15 years younger, so I mean... I don't blame him. Aging, it gets us all, apart from me. Days, when I look at the world title that Jay is holding, it visually doesn't look like a title that pops. The way it was introduced was lame, said Big Time. Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't think that the titles do kind of really have much about them. I like the intention of the of Jay's belt. I mean, it's got some decoration to it. You can see that it's sort of based on belts of the past. You can see that it takes inspiration from Big Gold. The faceplate is not that big, though. But I think they could have made that faceplate a bit bigger than it is. You're going to have that big WWE logo in the middle. I mean, there's not really a way of avoiding that. Could they have integrated it better? Maybe, Could have been on a blue globe or something like that instead, but it's one of those, isn't it? I don't think it's a disaster. Nice superplex. Trying to go for the pin. Carla said, hope you have a wonderful week, handsome. Same to you, Carla. Thank you for adding the handsome, because we all know that's true, but it still needs to be said from time to time. Yeah, Carla, I hope you're well. Hope you've had a good weekend. hopefully the bad news is out the way now, so hopefully we can have a good week. But will be very interesting to see how the fans react, as we said, tomorrow on Raw. Cena down. Sheamus 1, 2. Shoulder up. The Beach Kevin said, I'm starting to think I made a bad decision placing a 5k bet on R-Truth winning Money in the Bank. Well, don't give up hope. He's not left WWE completely. Well, I don't think he has. He's the word on the street is that they just won't renew his contract. I don't think they're going to use him, though. I don't think they're going to use him. I think he probably is done, but... Okay, we've got Sheamus in control. This is a little bit slow in the early stages. Crowd trying to get behind Cena. Sheamus is over the other side of the ring, is kind of setting up for double axe handle. Looked like he might have been setting up for a brogue or something, but it was a double axe handle and a shoulder up there by Cena. Yeah, crowd are a little bit quiet here. Big Time said it's been nearly 6 years since they changed that classic IC men's title. The current one still lacks life. Really? It's been 6 years since they changed to this current design. 6 years! They changed that in, 2019? Did they? Did they? That doesn't feel right. No way would I say that was that long. Oh, sleeper hold applied. Has that really been 6 years? 6 years since they introduced the current IC belt. That doesn't feel right at all. Goes down. How long before Truth goes in the Hall of Fame? Next year? Year after, whatever. He's definitely in. No doubt about that. Cena trying to get back up. Catherine said, do we think there'll be any more releases? Yeah, honestly, yes. I think that as... it was November 2019 on SmackDown. Sammy presented Shinsuke with a new IC title. That's really shocked me. Really shocked me. If I was to guess, I would have said... That's really shocked me. No way would I have said that this current design was the design we had at WrestleMania 36. In my mind, it was like 2021, 2022. Oh, no way would I have said 2019. No way. Well, shocked. What was that question? Do we think there'll be more releases? Yes, I think sadly... Oh, God, it's so frustrating because I think they're doing it the right way, but there's a downside to it. I think we keep saying... They should just allow people's contracts to expire if they don't want to renew them. And I've been very critical of them just cutting people mid-contract. Because the argument has always been, if you sign with WWE for 5 years and every year you're going to get paid $1 million, that basically means you're going to get $5 million over 5 years. And I know that you shouldn't count your chickens till they hatch and all that, but... You know, if you need to buy a house, if you need to buy a car, these are big outlays early in your contract, yeah? So, you know, what do? Do you just... What do you do? Rent and waste money until you've had all your 5 years. But how much will you waste? I mean, the truth is you will buy a house, won't you? I mean, if I had a contract for 5 years, $1 million a year over 5 years, I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to buy a car. I might go on holiday. I'm not going to, go mental and splurge loads of money on junk and, gadgets and stuff like this. But I'm going to get things I need to get, essentials. like a house, like a car. And that's a big outlay. Well, if you get released after your first year, you might actually only end up getting $1 million. And all right, that's maybe paid for your house and you might be able to pay for your car, but all of a sudden you're in a very different financial position than you thought you was going to be. Very different. So I think like releasing people during their contracts is horrific. I absolutely hate it. If I put myself in their shoes, and it's hard to feel for rich people, but if I put myself in their shoes, I could understand this being, because some people aren't earning that. Some people are like, I don't know, quarter of a, let's say that you are getting $250,000 a year and you got a 3-year deal, so $750,000. Well, if you buy a place, that might be $200,000. So, I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, maybe the example I gave is not the best example, but bottom line is, I think if you release someone during their contract, it really can have big repercussions. So I like it that you honour contracts. But the other problem you've got is that everyone's contract comes up at a different point. So that means that like R-Truth's contract's coming up, Carlito's contract's coming up. They've decided to not renew. But what about the next contracts that are coming up? And if they choose not to renew? People are talking about The Miz. Just as an example, what if Miz's contract is up in September? And we find out in the end of August that Miz is not going to be renewed. So I don't... If you do it the contract way, people sign contracts at different times. So if you do it the contract way, it means that you're going to have this news kind of dotted throughout the year. So do I think there'll be other releases? Well, there'll definitely be other releases. I don't know that they're going to be over today, tomorrow, or anything like that. But if we're doing it this contract way, it could be at any time of the year, at any point. No way, I didn't expect this R-Truth news. There was not even any rumour of this. This is a complete shock. I actually saw a YouTube video saying about R-Truth released, and I honestly thought it was clickbait. I honestly thought it was one of those fake news channels, and that they had kind of just put a video out as like a bit of fake news. It was only when I opened up my Twitter just after and saw all the notifications and everything that I saw what had actually happened. So, yeah, stunned. Cena with a bit of a wound on his head. AB said Cena makes a rally to the delight of the kids in the audience. Kick coming in there by Sheamus. Big Time said Cora Jade just bought a new house. She's 24 and single. She's got dogs. And now she's got 30 days to try and pay her bills. It's very stressful. Yeah. Dr. Luch Lala said, I thought it was fake news initially too. I think a lot of people at first when they read that from R-Truth were confused. Like, why would R-Truth be notified that he was getting released? I mean, R-Truth's a joker as well. Like, you do wonder, is this a joke or what it is? I think just looking at my timeline, it seems like people were really struggling to understand what was going on, if it was real at first. Even some of the people reporting it were like, what? But as the hours have gone by and Fightful have looked into it and other wrestlers have responded, it's proven to be real. Cena is tied up in the ropes. Sheamus is actually using him to climb the cage. Cena frees himself. Cena going up. Sheamus is at the top of the cage. Shot coming in there by Cena. And again, you can hear the high-pitched noise. Dormouse, hello. Said, I was genuinely hurt today by someone that I thought was a friend. They said that they would do something and then turned around and did something else. I'm a bit hurt, but I will get over it, says Dormouse. Dormouse, shout out to you, buds. That happens. I've been in that situation. Obviously, it depends what it is specifically, but I've been in that situation where you think someone's going to do something or tells you you're going to do something and they do something else. Dormouse, shout out to you. Carla said, devil's advocate. What if it is a stunt? Logan couldn't get over with John, but do this to R-Truth. The people are madder than a wet hen. Is that a saying? Madder than a wet hen. I've never heard this. Madder than a wet hen. Just a thought. I like to stir the pot. Well, I don't think they would do that. You don't want to mess around with releases and doing anything with that because it's such a real subject that really devastates. You know, like Cora Jade was just mentioned. She's, you know, been released and she's got to figure out how to pay for a house and all that stuff now. There's a real bad taste if ever it's used. I mean, people were really down when Drake Maverick got released and then he put a video out and then was brought back. But people were really down when he was brought back that they sort of used his release as like a bit of a part of the story. It wasn't good. It's just, you know, I don't think they would do that. I appreciate you said devil's advocate. But I don't think this is a work or a story or anything. I don't think they would mess around with some unreleases. God, that might make it even worse. That might be even worse. Even worse than releasing R-Truth might be actually doing a story about that you've released R-Truth when you haven't, so that you upset everyone and then it turns out he's not. I mean, it'd be lovely to think that he's still around, but God, that would be bad PR as well. Just sucks, doesn't it? Madder than a wet hen. I can't get past that. My mouth is talking, but my mind is thinking madder than a wet hen. I've never heard that. It's a saying over here. We have hens. They're wet. They get riled up about it. Well, I'm sure a lot of animals get upset when they get wet, don't they? I mean, fish don't, but I have no idea how flipping turtles feel about getting moist. I'm sure they're fine with it. What about a hamster? What about a sheep? What about a cow? How do elk respond to getting wet? Here's the Nexus. Miranda in their way down. Tava with some bolt cutters. They didn't really come down in a very exciting fashion, did they? They just sort of strolled down. Now they're all just kind of standing on the outside of the ring. And then a referee has just been able to snatch the bolt cutters away. Actually, do you know what? Cena's right. This group's mid. In my mind, Nexus were like really cool, but just watching them slowly wander down, and then a referee was able to snatch the bolt cutters away. And look at this mid group, mate. If this was today, we'd be down on this so far. They're threatening the ref, telling him to give him the key. Now the ref's throwing the key in the crowd. But the referees are murking this group. Even the referees aren't scared. The one referee stole the bolt cutters. The other referee went, "Oh, you want the key?" Yoink, yeet, like that. And this group's on the outside going, what do we do? Do we hit the ref? What do we do? Sheamus is tapping, but there's a ref down in the ring. What are they doing? They've just disappeared. Where are they? Mate, I never go back to this time period. Are they still just surrounding the ref? useless. Yeah, I never go back to this time period. I never rewatched this Nexus stuff, but of literally the 2 minutes I've seen of them so far, I can already find a few faults. They were so over, though. They were so over. They were so popular, and I was so behind them at the time. Trying to climb up. Kick coming in there by Cena. Sheamus is climbing out the other side. Sheamus trying to get out the other side. Bang! Slater down. Cena on the one side. Sheamus on the other. Sheamus wins! Jumps in the crowd. Runs away. Sheamus manages to get the victory. But it was not by a very wide margin. I tell you what, as soon as John Cena gets down, he is going to be madder than a wet hen. He is going to be absolutely livid. Cena was climbing out. Nexus have prevented John from winning. Sheamus gets the victory. Where have the Nexus gone now? Where have they gone? So they stopped John from winning and then they ran away. Is that Gabriel? Gabriel's down. Where's the rest of the Boomers? They could be beating him up right now. They've probably gone back to that ref to kind of stand round him. Gabriel goes into the side of the cage. Do you know what? Justice for John. Cena looks madder than a dry fish. Madder than a dry fish. Yeah, why is that not the saying? Where's he come from? There's these random Nexus people appearing that are beaten up. Cena has got Tarver in his sights. Bang, clothesline, Tarver down. Do you know it's crazy how much Darren Young looked like a black John Cena? It's kind of crazy how we didn't find more for Darren Young. He had a great look. Their hair was a bit wild. Cena getting the ring steps. Wrestling Russ said Carlito won the WWC Universal Heavyweight Championship yesterday. Wrestling Russ, shout out to you, buds. He may have known. I don't know if he did. Wow, good sale by Tarver. I told you I would take every one of you out, says Cena. As he hurls the ring steps at Tarver. Tarver goes down. You can hear a kid going, Cena, Cena. Madder than a wet hen is the best thing I've heard in years, says Catherine. Listen, if we get nothing else from this stream, if we get absolutely nothing else apart from all the complaining and crying that we've done, or that I've done, because of our truth, at least we've had that. At least we've had that. The hostile takeover of Monday Night Raw continues. We're just seeing the Nexus down as the feed cuts. And there we go. That was the 2010 Money in the Bank. I thought that was okay. I'm actually not in love with that show. Again, it could be a bit of our truth. It could be that has played a factor. I would not be shocked that my feelings are a little bit down on it because of everything that's gone on today. But, yeah, I don't know. It was all right. It was fine. It was a perfectly acceptable watch, but... you know, two women's matches that were... The one was okay, the other one was really not. You know, Kane cash-in was good, though. That was good. The Money in the Bank ladder matches were fine. Second one better than the first. And cage match was all right. Nexus looked a bit silly in my mind. I don't think that was their great shining moment. The Ray Jack Swagger match I thought was pretty fun. Wasn't really down on that. I don't know. It's an interesting show because, like, you do get a cash in, you do get a title change, so you do get a big talking point. But yeah, don't know. Just hasn't really grabbed me. I'm in the sixes, I think. I'm in the sixes for this one. Kader said it was a bit mids. Dr. Luchalala said, thanks for the stream. It helped with that truth news. I feel a bit better, said Dr. Luchalala. Well, Dr. Luchalala, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. I know it's not the stream that we hoped for. It's not the stream that I planned, to be honest. I thought we were going to sit and really talk more about this show, talk more about Money in the Bank, of course. Today's news really, really distracting and derailing, but the positive would be that it's derailed today and not Raw, so hopefully tomorrow we should be back to normal. What would it take to get Nexus all together for even a one-off appearance? Barrett, Heath, Atunga, Slater, Tarver. They were such an iconic group. I think they would do it if they're all available. I think they would definitely do it. I think that could be a really fun reunion, honestly. Really fun, but I don't know that Triple H is really interested in using his TV time to really book and promote a group from 15 years ago. A group that would be very limited with like how much you could do with them. If you was going to do it now, you'd probably want to get a new group together of like upcoming NXT talent. Which, you know, if you was to do that, maybe you could bring back Nexus and do a bit of a one-off match, like the new Nexus or whatever, the new group against like the old group and do it as a one-off thing. But yeah, I don't think you would be able to bring them back without there being a group for them to feud with or a reason for them to return. Because I just don't think you're going to want to give them really anything more than a one-off appearance at this point. So hard to see. Kind of thing you could see at a Saturday night's main event. You know, a little moment for that kind of a show. Imagine there's a heel that's cheating. And, you know, like say Finn Balor's cheating to win. He's got Judgment Day behind him. And then like Nexus come out, even up the odds. You know, that'd be a really fun one-time appearance. That could be really fun. But I don't think you would do anything bigger, honestly, because TV time is obviously valuable. We're struggling to get carrion on TV. So using up TV time for a group of that size, I mean, that would be considerable. And I don't think there's much of a future there for that group in 2025. Carl said Slater's got too many kids to look after as well. That's a really good point. Blue Whale Sonic said, overall, I'm going to give this a D+. Ace said, I can't wait for Raw tomorrow. Wrestling Russ, shout out to you, my friends. AB said the two women's matches were rather dire, easily the worst things on the cards. Larry said, with today's news, the stream was helpful. Well, I'm glad that people have got something from the stream. That pleases me. Dad Stuff said, Days, I decided to watch Money in the Bank 2021 last night. Probably the worst Money in the Bank. Weak participant lineup. Spots were sloppy. Timing of spots and acting was bad. No problem with the winners, though. Dad Stuff, shout out. You out, Dad Stuff? It's interesting. I honestly don't remember that show, so I can't really go back and say. I mean, the only thing I can say is that I don't really think there's been much in Money in the Banks for a while now. Certainly the booking of the winners has not been good under Triple H, but I do remember the 2021, of course, at the headquarters being fun. I did enjoy that. I thought that was a really enjoyable Money in the Bank. That was actually pandemic done right, in my opinion. Like, actually, those matches in particular, it gave us you couldn't do that any other time. So, actually starting at the ground floor of the headquarters, fighting your way all the way through, like, that's a great match to go back and revisit. That's a great match to go back and enjoy again. So I definitely enjoyed that one. That one sticks in my mind. But yeah, I can't say like that there's really been loads that since the pandemic that I've enjoyed. Or certainly not loads that comes to mind. So if the 2021 version was a bit mid, I can believe it. Just hoping that... obviously, we did London. I do remember the London one. That was okay. That event was okay. Cena coming out and everything. I think that's the one that Damien wins, though, and it was like... not what I was after, but, better than Logan winning. So, yeah, hopefully the shares will be good. Maybe with Carlito away, Judgment Day will get a new member, said Wrestle with Andy. Calvin said, Days, why do we think Karrion and Austin are being ignored, despite the fact the fans are getting behind them? Does management care what the fans want? So, to be honest with you, I think that the numbers that they look at, so you just have to put yourself in Triple H's shoes. If you're Triple H, you're sitting there and you are looking at merch sales, you're looking at YouTube views, you're looking at Google searches. They'll have data that tells them what wrestlers fans are most engaged with. Now, I don't think the data will have told them that Austin Theory or Karrion Kross is someone that you need to get behind, right? I think if you're going to do it, you're doing it because you believe in their future skills, their future ability, right? I don't think there's anything there at the moment that's telling you need to do that. Hang on. I can hear people shouting. Hang on, right? But in recent months, there has been a groundswell of support for Karrion. I think the feud with the Wyatt Six played a big part because it allowed him to do online promos, which were very well received. Then that feud came to an end and there was not really anything for him after that. And then, of course, around WrestleMania, he did that Raw recap promo that really went viral and resonated. And there is this kind of groundswell of support on social media, which is people getting behind Karrion. His shirt sold out. It came back in stock. It sold well again. So I think there is definitely a bit of a buzz for Karrion on Twitter. But Twitter is not everything. Twitter is a tiny percentage of the WWE universe. Social media is a percentage of the WWE universe, a universe that's made up of casual fans and people that don't interact online. So when we say, is Triple H ignoring the fans, I would say I don't think the noise is that loud for Karrion. If you look on social media, it might feel like it is. But until I hear Karrion's name being chanted in the arenas, until I see like more regular signs, then, Karrion made a comment, I think it was in his documentary he did, where he was like, no, actually, it might have been in that Raw recap one. He said, they told me I had to be undeniable. Well, I am undeniable, and I'm still being denied, or something like that, right? And I actually disagreed with that comment because I think he's managed to get to a point. I think he's got to a point where he's got this swell of support, which is definitely there and growing. But we're not getting to the point where people are chanting his name during the shows and disrupting matches. And it's not like they're spamming Karrion's name in the comment section of videos. And it's not like his shirt is the #1 bestseller. Last time I checked, you can look, if you go to WWE Shop, sort shirts into bestseller order, you can see what the best-selling shirts are. And Karrion, it was #6 the other day. I don't know where he is now, but he's got, a top-selling shirt, not the top-selling shirt. It's a top-selling shirt, which kind of went around as the top-selling shirt on social media, but that was not correct. So it's one of those where, like, I feel like he's got this support. It's not as loud as it could be. I think it can get louder. I think that, he needs to just keep doing what he's doing. But I think to paint a picture that WWE are ignoring the fans, the majority, I don't think that paints an accurate picture. And I'm not saying that because I don't like Carrion. I'm saying it because I think it's the truth. And I believe that actually there's more work that needs to be done. I don't think anyone should look at what's happening at the moment and think that Carrion has done everything he can do and that there's nothing that can be done now and they're just not listening. And why aren't they listening to the fans? My counterpoint, my pushback would be, I think there's a lot more the fans can do. I think there's more support that needs to be obtained. I think this groundswell of support needs to grow more. The voice needs to be louder, And he's definitely got support. There's definitely people there that are rooting for him, and there's definitely a movement, but that movement just needs to get bigger and louder and needs to gain more momentum, and the shirt needs to sell, and you need to have the message needs to really come through loud and clear to Triple H. Google searches, all of that, it's hard to do that whilst not getting any kind of push is close to impossible. I mean, it's a very rare thing that you see. Very rare. Very, very rare. But it's also, if I'm Carrion, quite exciting because if you can create this kind of buzz now whilst you're not on TV very often, not having matches, imagine what you can create when you're actually on TV and you can cut promos and you can talk and you can have matches. I mean, he's very good at maximizing his minutes. He's very good at making the most of his moments. So if he's created this kind of buzz without any TV time or limited TV time, what can he do when he gets a bit? What can he do when he actually, has chance to do something? So if I'm Carrion, I'm doing everything I can. I'm excited. Trying to look at the positives. I'm frustrated, but I can use those frustrations. Make no mistake about it. He's not on TV. He's not in that Money in the Bank qualifier. He can put a tweet out saying, I saw it too. Like, I saw that graphic. I'm not in the match. I understand your frustration. I saw it as well. I feel it as well. No one's more frustrated than I am. Just to, fuel that fire a little bit more. It's the right thing to do. So no shade. It's the right thing to do. Fuel that fire. Get the fans riled up. Build that support a little bit more. A lot of this is to do with psychology. So I don't think that it is that Triple H is ignoring fans. I think the fans need to be louder. Austin Theory doesn't have that support. Whatever we see for Carrion, we don't see that for even Austin Theory. If I'm saying that the support for Carrion needs to be louder, I would say it needs to be much louder for Austin Theory. Outside of those numbers, outside of having, numbers going crazy, I mean, look at what LA Knight was doing, The support for him, the sales for him, the video views for him, off the charts a few years ago. And, he's, had a good run as a result. If you either need that or you need WWE to basically take a chance on you. I mean, if we take a chance, I think you should take a chance on Theory. I think there's a great look there. I think if you turn him babyface, I'd be interested to see what he could do. But you're probably doing that quite cold. You're probably doing that because you believe in him and you think there's something there and you can make it work. There's probably not really anything in the way of numbers to tell you that is the direction to go. It's probably just more of a gut feeling, like he's got the look. He's got the experience now on the main roster. Does he have the charisma? Does he have the promo skills? If not, can they be improved? Has he shown improvement? Is he going to get where we need him to get? what's he like backstage? Is he a likable person? Is he a bit of a nightmare? Like, is he worth investing in? Triple H wants only one thing, and that is the hottest product possible. And he's got all these pieces to achieve it. So I think Karrion is definitely a piece in the puzzle. I think he's someone that's not being used right. I think he's someone that does deserve more opportunity. But I'm not sure I agree that it's a big conspiracy and why does Triple H hate him and things like that. I think it's a bit more nuanced than that. I think there's a bit more to it than that. I think if the numbers were there, he would be getting the opportunities. I think his numbers have improved in 2025, and it could be that opportunity is just around the corner. But yeah, I think he's, I get the frustration, but I think that it's not quite as clean cut as like, the fans are being really loud and Triple H is just ignoring it. Big Time said Karrion having his deal coming up, coming off the heels of R-Truth Carlito, him not really getting on TV as an ideal. I always feel that Karrion in ring not being as exciting doesn't help. Well, I don't know about his in-ring. I haven't seen enough of it to comment, honestly. If his contract's coming up, then I would say that's a concern. Because if his contract's coming up, that might explain why they've not been using him, because they may have decided that he's not someone they're going to invest in. I don't know why you would decide that. I feel like he is someone that you should invest in. I'm not sure when his contract is up. I think it is soon, isn't it? I think it is soon. And actually, that might be why he said, and why Scarlett said, whatever the future holds, we're going to face it together. I think he was very angry about his contract information leaking, but I can't remember when it's up. I can't remember, like, how soon. But, yeah, I would say that if he's not put into a program soon, then obviously it's going to get quite concerning. Not long ago, the crowd chanted in theory to turn on Grayson, and even he looks surprised, said Vic. His trajectory could have been massively different if they hadn't botched his Money in the Bank cash-in, says Brian. Did you hear about Vince being upset about how WWE is being run now? All I can say is Vince did it to himself. Vince screwed himself. He did. I agree. Uncle Revel said another problem with Karrion is he needs to improve in the ring a bit. It's hard to do when you can't get a match. Tokens World said, has WWE turned into a more business-minded organisation now with TKO in charge? Yes and no. I mean, to be honest, I don't think it's a massive shift. I mean, Vince was always motivated by money. He was always trying to grow the company and make as much money as possible and improve the share price. It's a bit of a myth to kind of make out that it was just a lovely family business and now it's like an evil corporation and everything. Like, I would say that there is a change in the sense of, I think Vince had some boundaries. Not many, but I think there was a couple. One of them being sponsors on the ring mat and turnbuckles, right? And I think actually sponsorship in general, like we had sponsors, all the time it'd be like, this is brought to you by Snickers and stuff like that. But we didn't have kind of on the level we see now. We didn't quite have it on that level. So I feel like TKO have made a real effort and had a real look at like, how do we increase sponsorship? And obviously we've seen the results of that. In regards to like releases, Vince did releases all the time. Well, not all the time, but like, there was plenty of cuts that Vince did, budget cuts. We're getting that with TKO. It's just that I think like the R-Truth one is kind of crazy because of the fact he was a lifer, the longevity. The fact that, like, I don't know, there's just no loyalty. I feel like Vince had a bit of loyalty. I could be wrong. But I feel like, if you stuck by Vince, Vince would stick by you. I feel like there was a bit of... I don't know that Vince would be releasing R-Truth. I don't know that Vince would release R-Truth. I think there was a little bit of loyalty there by Vince that I think TKO, because they're a bit more removed, can be a little bit more cutthroat, but I don't want to really paint a false picture. I don't think there's a great difference between TKO and Vince in that regards. Vince was always what was right for business as well. I mean, Vince would have sold his own mother to have made a book. So, but equally, you do hear about how he was paying for like medical bills and, kind of looking after people in that regard. I think there was some good in Vince. It was well hidden, but there was some good there. So I can't really make much of an argument for it being a bit more corporate, and I feel like it's a bit more distant. I feel like it's colder now. I think that no one's safe now. I think that there's not really much in the way of like lines that they won't cross. I think there might have been some lines that Vince wouldn't have done, like as we said, the sponsors, but that doesn't exist now. So maybe a little more corporate, but not loads. Not loads. My favourite is when Alexa won Money in the Bank and cashed in that night, and the one where all three members of the Shield held the championship in one night, said All Game. Vince reports are not supported by any sources. That is just speculation, says William. Calvin, shout out to you, but... Days, that's always going to be the risk of Vince selling and then giving up his shares. Endeavour owning a higher percentage of WWE. Sponsorships are driving me crazy, said Eric. Eric, I hear you, honestly. A. Jobson said, speaking of the briefcase, the two ladder matches were just shy of being great, but they were the best things on the card. Fans have recently been chanting Theory. They cheered him for the entire time he and Waller's match with the new Catch Republic on Main Event, said Calvin. Well, that's what he needs. I mean, it is true. We heard the chant the other day for him. I think people are ready for him to break away from Grayson now. And actually, there's been a few things that he's done. There's a few moments where he will yeet and like Grayson doesn't like it. And there's just a few bits like that. He put a video out the other day, kind of quite inspirational. It almost made Unseen, where he was talking about get yourself to the gym. I was quite small when I was at school. I was bullied. But honestly, you put the work in, you get the results. There's like these odd little bits that he puts out. And I think, there's little looks that he gives, and you can tell that, like, there's a story where Grayson is kind of screwing Austin Theory over. And, I think, wasn't it the other day, he ended up having a match with, was it Sheamus? And a returning Sheamus, and, like, he got dropped in it. And so I think, like, this has just got the crowd to kind of start chanting him. But again, it's going to need a lot more than that to kind of get WWE behind Theory if they don't have any plans already. I think they've got plans. I think they like him. So I think they've got plans. But yeah, it's one of those, isn't it, where unless the noise is really loud and consistent and you just become undeniable, then if you're not in that situation, you've just got to wait and hope that your turn's coming up soon. So, right, with that being said, let's wrap things up there, shall we? Because it's already 3 o'clock. And I need to get to Unseen. I have no idea what Unseen's going to look like, because obviously the big news today is R-Truth and Carlito. We've already done a video on that, so it's going to be really what's left over. And I really don't know what that's going to be, but... I'll have a look, see what's gone down. since we've been doing the stream. But whatever happens, we will be back, obviously, for Raw. Hopefully, as we said, the conversation will be in a slightly better place. So, Money in the Bank, good 96. Alicia against Eve, good 90. Usos against the Hart Dynasty, good 93. Ray against Jack Swagger, really surprised. You lot said that was good 90. You didn't feel it. I thought it was better. Layla against Kelly, good 87. The worst match, easy. Money in the Bank, the second one, good 95. So you said the first was good 96 and the second was good 95. Then John Cena, Sheamus, good 96. So really nothing there that's setting the world on fire. I probably wouldn't disagree. It's crazy, though, to think that Meltzer scored that first match, Money in the Bank, a 4. I think he gave the second one a 4 as well. Let's just have a little look, see what he scored these, because we did look at the other scores, so it'd be a bit silly to not round it all off. So Meltzer said the first match was a 4. Alicia Fox, Eve Torres, 0.75. I think that's low. Hart Dynasty is 2.75. Rey Mysterio, Jack Swagger, he said was 4 stars. 4 stars for Rey Mysterio, Jack Swagger. Kane against Ray, he said not rated. It was too short. Layla Kelly, 0.5. The second Money in the Bank, 4 stars. 3 of the matches on this card, Meltzer gave 4 stars to. Sheamus, John Cena, 3 stars. So he really enjoyed both ladder matches. And he enjoyed Rey Mysterio, Jack Swagger. So Dave Meltzer way higher on this card than we were. Crazy. So there we go. Thanks a lot for joining. Really appreciate the support as always. Don't forget, we're back tomorrow for Monday Night Raw. I'm going to have a look, see what I can find for Unseen. So thanks for watching.